The late Maya Angelou was also fond of saying, be someone's rainbow on a cloudy day. Well, we have a cloudy night here at Citizens Bank Park, but baseball will be played. It's the final game of this three-game series between the Phillies and the Colorado Rockies. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs and Jamie Moyer. We get set to wrap up this series, and the Phillies, no easy task. They'll take on a guy that earlier this season, Jamie, handled them out in Denver, and Jordan Lyles.
Yeah, Jordan Lyles had a very good start against the Phillies in April, and a lot of that came by his fastball usage and the location of his fastball. And you'll see through these highlights where he located his fastball down and away, but he also got his fastball in pretty deep and jammed several Philly hitters to induce a lot of weaker ground balls. Now, as we've moved into the month of May, his fastball location hasn't been quite as good. His batting average against, slugging average against has been elevated, and he hasn't had near the success. I will also say, too, in the month of April, he had a great run support.
Great run support. In fact, the Rockies averaged about 5 runs per game for him, but he did pitch to a 2.70 ERA, and that's what you're talking about. The earned run average is much higher here in the month of May.
Yeah, and again, he's starting to see some teams for the second time, and he has to learn to make adjustments. And obviously, hitters are making adjustments to him. Now it's up to him, Jordan, to make those adjustments as well.
All right, speaking of making adjustments, Jimmy Rollins never really needs to make adjustments defensively, but Matt, he's playing some of the best defense we've seen in a couple of years.
He really is. He's like one of those hitters when you get locked in, you just want to get that home plate and start hitting the ball hard. Well, he's a guy who wants every ground ball hit to him. The reason why is because he's got the great lower half, tremendous hand still. He knows he can sit back and wait for that bat hop and still make the very strong throw across the infield. But to me, it's his initial first step. He starts low when he's taking ground balls. He expects the ball hit to him, and he wants to make that play. A lot of guys at times, when they don't feel comfortable playing defense, don't want the ball hit to him. Jimmy Rollins wants the ball hit to him every single time.
Well, and that play last night, which we just saw, was one of the best plays we've seen Jimmy Rollins make in the last handful of years. In fact, Juan Samuel said it was an amazing break, just what you said, to see him get to that baseball and pull off a fantastic play. So it is the final game of this three-game series. Roberto Hernandez will take the ball for the Phillies, making his 9th start of the year. And we mentioned Jordan Lyles making his 11th start overall for the Colorado Rockies. Well, Darren Ruff's not in the lineup here tonight, but he'll be used off the bench. Last night, he went yard. That wasn't a big surprise. This guy, was that a surprise? Ben Revere's first career home run. We'll come back with the lineups at first pitch after this. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, introducing One Deposit Checking. Keeping things simple is helping you bank better. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Away from the start of the final game of this three-game series against the Colorado Rockies. The Phillies are waiting to take the field. There's Roberto Hernandez. He's given the high sign, so here they come. Phillies will take the field and try to win this series here tonight against the Rockies. It's a cool night, as everybody who stepped outside today knows. Temperatures are going to be in the 50s by the time this game comes to a close. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the Rockies, brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field is Charlie Blackmon. DJ LeMahieu bats second. Justin Morneau hits third, followed by Michael Kadire and Corey Dickerson. Willeen Rosario, the catcher, bats sixth. In the bottom third of Josh Rutledge, Charlie Culberson, and Jordan Lyles, and they'll face Phillies right-hander Roberto Hernandez. Roberto 2-2 with an ERA of 3.83. He's having a decent year, Jamie, and it's just now an opportunity for him to settle back into the rotation.
Yeah, he is having a decent year, and I preface decent because he hasn't had the consistent work, and he's still actually throwing the ball quite well in my belief, and he's got a very good fastball, or sinker if you will, 90 to 94 miles an hour. He's pretty much a two-pitch pitcher, sinker, slider. He does have a changeup, that he uses selectively, I guess I'll politely say. I just like the way he competes. Now I do think you'll find more consistency when he gets his arm up and he stays on top of the ball. His ball seems to have better sink and better depth to it. When he gets to the side of it a little bit, it gets a little flat and it just kind of runs.
Well, he has concluded his warm-up tosses for the start of this ball game. Let's take a look at our Nissan keys to tonight's ball game.
Well, my first key is the bottom of the lineup contributing. I know the top of the lineup has somewhat been a little inconsistent, but the bottom of the lineup needs to create some consistency to turn that lineup over to the top of the lineup.
And for me, it's Marlon Byrd to stay back in the zone and drive the ball to left field, right field, and not try to be that guy who's trying to hit a home run every time to left field.
Yeah, Marlon is 0 for his last 12, so that would be a good key to get him rolling here tonight against the Rockies. Well, Charlie Blackmon will lead things off. Blackmon did not play last night. Tonight it's Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki who have the games off, or the game off. It is that cool tonight where the umpires are looking for their jackets. Tony Randazzo, the first base umpire, is going to have to track down Jim Wolf to get his. The end of May, and the temperature is nowhere near where you would expect it to be. It's nowhere near where it was on Monday here in Philadelphia. Temperatures were in the 80s on Monday.
I'd call us a cold front coming through.
I would say it is a cold front.
Hope everybody's tomato plants are doing okay.
It's an unwelcome cold front.
Well, I guess that's my fault because it's coming from Canada.
Is it coming from Canada?
Yes, it is.
Gosh darn it. You get the
happens sometimes.
Get the weather back up north and leave it there. First pitch to Charlie Blackmon is in there for a strike, so we're underway. It's 0-1. Blackmon, as we mentioned, did not start in last night's ball game, but did have a pinch hit appearance. Overall hitting .321, 9 homers, 33 runs batted in. Last time Roberto faced the Rockies was on the 20th of April. He allowed 9 hits and 6 runs in 4 innings of work. Ground ball right side, should be an easy play, and is for Howard, 1 out. So Blackmon's retired, and now Roberto Hernandez will go after DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu overall hitting .271, no homers and 12 runs batted in. So far 1 for 4 in this series. You just saw his numbers over his last dozen or so at bats. Line drive, 1 hopper out toward Utley. 5 pitches, 2 outs. Certainly a start that any pitcher would welcome. During the 2014 season, Turkey Hill, the official ice cream of the Phillies, will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Justin Morneau is the batter. Morneau batting third for the first time this year for the Rockies. And he lifts one out toward right center field. On the run is Marlon Byrd. He's not going to get there. It's a one hop off the scoreboard. And Morneau will pull into second with a 2-out double. That's his 14th double of the year.
And there again, we see a first pitch changeup and a first at bat. A little startled, or baffled, I guess I should say. I'm not sure what we're changing up off of. To me, it's puzzling. Decent changeup, but you're really not throwing it off of. He's not basing it off of any speed.
You're not expecting, or you're not as a hitter, Matt, if you're on the on-deck circle, that's not going to throw you off watching from the on-deck circle then coming up to the plate, right?
No, and as a hitter, you step in the batter's box and you're trying to see his arm angle, how the ball's coming out of his hand, and Jamie made a good point. You're basing it off nothing. You haven't seen a pitch yet. Now that might be considered his fastball for the night for Morneau, even though it was a changeup outer half. So you need to make quality pitches early in the game and establish a fastball, which we talk about all the time, which makes your other pitches even better.
Well, it's 2 balls and no strikes now to Cuddyer, as Ryan Sandberg knows, with Tulowitzki and Gonzalez out of the lineup for the Rockies. Cuddyer, as their cleanup hitter, could be their biggest threat. And that's at the knees, 2-1.
The other part to that is, if I'm Morneau, I'm not going to look for a changeup for the rest of the night.
Because he got the hit on it.
He's thinking, you know what, the pitcher's not going to throw me that pitch anymore. So now he can sit on 2 pitches.
Close sinker, and it misses low. 3 balls and 1 strike.
And Matt, you all know when you can start deleting pitches from a hitter or from a pitcher, it makes hitting a little bit easier. And, and we all will respect it. Hitting is very difficult, but when you can get an advantage, you're going to take advantage of it. I know that. I've been around too many of you guys.
You guys.
Use guys.
3 balls and 1 strike. Ground ball toward third. That's a foul ball. And it's 3-2. It's an interesting point from a hitting standpoint, what Jamie's saying, because sometimes I would think it's over the head of some hitters. They're not looking at it that way. But for a guy like Morneau, he's been around, he understands the game, he would be a candidate to do just that.
There is a few guys, there is some pitchers that will come back there next time up and will throw a changeup. Brett Saberhagen, I hit a home run one time to right field on his cutter. My next at bat, I'm looking out over the plate, changeup, he throws me a cutter inside. So guys will pick their certain areas where they want to throw that pitch. But if Fernandez feels like he can make a quality pitch to Morneau, who has that type of swing that goes through the zone and drives the ball, maybe he can roll over to a ground ball to second or first.
Well, Bob McClure is just hoping that pitch number 13 in this inning will get Hernandez out of it. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Michael Cuddyer. Outside, ball 4, and then I'll put 2 on, 2 outs.
Matt, let me ask you a question. Something I've been thinking about. I wanted to talk about this the other day, and it just slipped my mind. But if you just hit a home run off of a pitcher on a particular pitch, how many times did you see that same pitch, first pitch, the next at bat?
Well, besides the Brett Saberhagen story, probably never. I mean, really, you don't. And if it's a fast one side, they're going to throw those 2 seamers away, the changeups away. But the veteran pitchers, I find, they will come back in there and prove that, you know what, you beat me once, you're not going to do it again.
That ball's flared out toward left, and a diving catch by Dominic Brown, and the side is retired. Dominic got a very good jump going into the alleyway and was able to leave his feet and athletically reel that one in for the final out here at the top of the first. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left, and obviously no runs because of this play by Dominic Brown to wrap up the top of the first inning. So a little defense for the Phils. or no harm because of the play by Dominic Brown. This was a good jump by Dominic Brown.
It was, and there was no hesitation. Had a great read off the ball, knowing that was a line drive to left center. The first initial step tells an outfielder if he's going to be able to get there or not. He exploded to the ball and made a very nice diving catch to left center.
Now the ball goes into the crowd. So let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field, Ben Revere. Jimmy Rollins bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd. Dominic Brown's in left field. He'll bat sixth. The bottom third of Ruiz, Cesar Hernandez, and Roberto Hernandez. And they'll face right-hander Jordan Lyles. 5 wins, 1 loss, an ERA of 3.45. Good pickup by the Rockies during the offseason.
No, very good. We saw him out in Colorado earlier in the year. He has a very different delivery, and the ball gets on you very quick. He'll top out about 93 miles an hour. 4-pitch pitcher, and he's 1-0 with a 2.50 ERA versus the Phillies.
Ben Revere will lead it off, and Revere takes a strike. And here is that scatter report that Matty alluded to on Jordan Lyles. Part of his numbers against the Phillies includes 7 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs back in April. Well, Ben Revere soaking it all in his first major league home run.
Well, he got a fastball down and inside from a left-hander. Took a nice, very easy swing and drove it to right field, and the old smile was coming out.
There's a liner out toward right. Kadire makes the catch. There's one away. Jimmy Rollins coming up, and Murph, Jimmy Rollins is going to reach a lot of milestones in the next year or so, and tonight is one of those milestones.
Yeah, Tom, it seems like just about every night we're talking about another milestone for Jimmy Rollins, and assuming this game gets in regulation and gets final, this will be his 2,000th game in his career. All of those games, of course, with the Philadelphia Phillies, which brings us to our Mazda leaders. He ranks 3rd among active players right now, with staying with one team. Derek Jeter, of course, at 2.646 is number 1. Paul Konerko with the White Sox is number 2, and there's J-Roll at 1,999. This will be number 2,000 after the 5th inning tonight, guys. Yeah, there's a chance that he catches Konerko. If this is indeed Konerko's last year, it may take a while, but he could catch him sometime down the road and then just keep riding up that list. It's 2 balls and no strikes to Rollins. It's Rollins and Mike Schmidt, each with 2,000 games or more in a Phillies uniform. And what's really impressive, Tom, only 12 active players in Major League Baseball are 2,000 plus games active right now, and Derek Jeter on that list, A-Rod, guys like that, Albert Pujols. But to put your name amongst those as well, it just goes to show you what Jimmy Rollins has been able to accomplish. I mean, longevity is an important part of a good career, and he has certainly had that, and he's been healthy for most of his career as well. So, he works out a walk with 1 man down here in the first, and Chase Utley's coming up. Utley 1 for 3 against Lyles. That was that game earlier this season against the Rockies out in Colorado. Overall hitting .333. He's had a good series, 4 for 9 against Colorado. Showed bunt. I think he thought Rollins may be going on that pitch, and he was going to take it anyway. 1 ball, no strikes. Rollins has stolen 6 bases this year. He's been caught twice. Willeen Rosario with all of his evolving defensive skills, and they are evolving. He's got some issues with certain things, but he does have a good arm behind the plates.
Yeah, and definitely he controls the running game. But I think the reasons why Jimmy Rollins' numbers are down from stealing bases is because Chase is swinging the bat so well the whole year. One, you don't want to take the bat out of his hands. But two, he's been hitting so many doubles this year that you're already in scoring position at first base.
That's a good point. And you never know when Chase is going to go early in the count, later in the count. I mean, he's really mixed up. Very rarely will he swing at the first pitch, though. And he takes a fastball for a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Bartolo Colon shut out the Pirates today, 5-0. David Wright had a couple of RBIs. Lucas Duda scored on a wild pitch to give the Mets the only run they needed. Off the end of the bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Utley.
And going back when you're talking about Chase swings at the first pitch sometimes, firm believer that Chase swings at the first pitch when he's not feeling comfortable in the batter's box. And a lot of guys find a good way to get out of the when they're not feeling well is going up there and being aggressive with that first pitch and trying to drive it.
That one is driven out toward right, and it'll stay out for Kadire. And there are 2 outs. That'll bring Ryan Howard up. Well, and your point, I think, is that a lot of times the first pitch is a fastball. And it's usually a fastball right down the middle, so that may be your best chance to make some good contacts.
And it is. And if you take that first pitch down the middle, now you're 0-1. Now all of a sudden the curveball, the changeup is coming. You're having a hard time staying back in the zone. So you want to be aggressive early in the count and get that first fastball and what do we call it, the sneak attack on the first fastball and try to drive it.
Ryan Howard is the batter. Howard hitting .235, 8 home runs, 30 runs batted in. He hit into a double play as a pinch hitter yesterday. Did not start last night's ball game with the lefty out on the mound. But had 5 RBIs in game 1 against the Rockies. Opposite way, out of play, 0-2. Darren Ruff got a chance to play first base yesterday. Made a couple of very good defensive plays, also hit a home run. Again, Morneau scoops that one up, a 1-hopper. And Rollins is back diving. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ryan Howard. Howard, with those 5 RBIs in game 1, now has 30 on the season. But he shoots it the other way. That almost looked like a quick pitch by Jordan Lyles. Nice play by a fan down the left field line.
Well, and you'll see that occasionally with a pitcher trying to throw off a base runner's timing, not allowing him to create that same timing, that same tempo at first base, so you can get a good jump on a steal.
Yeah, that was quicker than what he's done in that entire at bat to Ryan Howard.
And sometimes too, or a lot of times it affects the hitter too.
In the dirt, gets away for a moment from Rosario, and he has no play. Nobody was covering third, but at the last moment the Rockies realized it. So a wild pitch. Yeah, that puts a runner in scoring position, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. That ball may have gotten a piece of the home plate umpire Dave Rackley.
It was a good stop by Dave.
Well, he made sure he covered up. Yeah, the pitcher ducking, the hitter ducking.
But he kind of blocked it how they teach the catcher, kind of make your body concave so when it hits you, it bounces right in front of you. He's
perfect technique.
He may have been an ex-catcher.
Crew chief Brian Gorman's over third. All right, now it's even 2 balls and 2 strikes to Howard. Rutledge keeping Rollins close out at second. 3-2. A little different first inning here for Lyles compared to when the Phillies last saw him.
Oh, and this, you're seeing, we talked about pregame about his fastball having some troubles with fastballs and hitters hitting for high average. This could be part of the reason why.
Swing and a miss at a slider, and he picks up his first strikeout. An 8-pitch at bat. No runs, no hits, 1 man left in scoring position. So the Phillies threaten just as the Rockies do, but do not score. The Rockies and the Phillies, game 3 of this series. Well, Commissioner Bud Selig is going to retire at the beginning of next year, and Commissioner Selig assumed the office in 1998, and here's some of the things that Commissioner Selig put together under his leadership. And he's been nice enough to spend some time with us up here in the booth. He's been around the city and around the ballpark here today. Commissioner Selig, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. Pleasure to be with you. Hi, Jamie.
All right, good to see you, bud.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I know you're kind of making some tours around to the different cities. I know today you received the Wistar President's Award for your contribution for not only promoting cancer research, but also helping in the studying of cancer. And I know you're a cancer survivor, so that was the main reason you came to town today.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I said back in January, Tom, that I really wanted to visit all 30 franchises and talk to people. And I had a great meeting with the front office here, as I did in Colorado and Atlanta and other places. And so it's been 22 years and a long time. And I'm looking forward to next January, but in the meantime, proud of everything we've accomplished.
Well, and I know you talked to all the members of the Phillies front office as Rosario takes the pitch outside in sort of a town hall meeting today. Have you liked that kind of setup to be able to do that with the teams?
I do. The thing people used to ask me back in the 90s, I'd run the Milwaukee team, as you both know, for 30 years at that point. I missed the contact with the front office people, scouts, manager, everybody. And So when I do things like this, it really, I love it. I really enjoy this.
Well, I thought the questions were pretty good too. I kind of expected most of the questions, and you seem to get the same ones every city you go to about.
You're correct.
What you're proudest of,
right.
if you have any regrets, something like that.
Yes, I do. I do. I get the same questions, and they're thoughtful, and I can understand them.
Well, we talk so much about where baseball has come over the years, and Jamie, you know this as a former player, and you've watched it sort of evolve over the years too. One of the key components that you talked about, Commissioner Seelig, is labor peace. Now that basically has occurred over the last couple of decades.
Well, nobody could have forecast. I told some stories today. I think you heard that we'd have 21 years of labor peace. Jamie, you'll remember my career started in 1970. And we had 8 work stoppages, and they were painful, and they hurt the sport. I think more than any of us really understood. So to have 21 years now of peace, the sport has grown dramatically, both in revenue, attendance, and everything else. And labor peace has to be maybe the primary reason.
I think it's a big part of it because obviously as an active player I was on the other side of it.
Of course you did.
You kind of felt that strife that was created during those times, and as a player you surely don't want to be out of work and not being able to work, but there was disagreements, and fortunately we've been able to bridge that gap, and I think you're right, Commissioner. It really has allowed the game to grow.
No question about it. I used to say to people, Don Fair and I would have these conversations over and over. People got tired of reading about players, owners, commissioners, everybody fighting with one another. I always tell the clubs that when we can keep the focus back out on the field,
right,
this game will be great. This game will do well. It's when you go off the field that you run into problems.
Charlie Culberson, the batter, after a couple of strikeouts. Hernandez knocks the ball down, but he has no play. So Culberson will be safe at first. We're joined up here in the booth by Commissioner Bud Selig, who announced his retirement, which will officially take place in January of next year. I know you laid out some of the things that you're going to do. You're not going to miss the game itself, though. You'll still be part of the game as a fan now, more than anything.
Certainly will. Even today, my best days are when I go home at night and I can watch all 15 games. That's the best part of the day.
Let me ask you this. What's the first thing you're going to do in retirement, away from the game of baseball?
Well, Jamie, I'm going to teach at least 2 or 3 universities. I'm teaching at one now, but I'll have time. And I'm going to write a book about my 50-plus years in baseball. And so I'm looking forward to that. It's.
You have a title?
No, I haven't even really thought about that. I have done all the work. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of boxes of documents that we're going to have to plow through. But I really am looking forward to it. When I was a kid in college years ago, I wanted to be a history professor. So at least now, at age 80+, I'm going to be able to go back and do what I want to do. And I'm looking forward to it.
Now, what kind of book will it be, Commissioner? Will it be sort of a history lesson of the game as you've seen it over the years?
Yes, that's a good way to put it. And the way I've seen it since 1960 to the present, which is the course I'm going to take, Sports and American Society, baseball in particular, from 1960 to the present, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, Jordan Lyles is the batter. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to him. 2 outs here in the top of the second with a runner at first. Culberson reached on an error by the third baseman, Cesar Hernandez. That was his first error of the season. Yeah, the 1-2 pitch coming to Lyles, and that just missed inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, there's so much that we'd love to talk to you about. I guess the biggest, one of the biggest babies that you've had this year is replay and the implementation of replay.
I'm happy with it. I would not have conceived. I've told Tony La Russa and Joe Torre, who obviously were, and John Sherhouse of the Atlanta club.
He was a dribbler toward third. Tough play for Hernandez, and safe at first. Well, here you go. We may, depending on what Ryan Sandberg saw, have a chance to use replay here. It doesn't look like it, as Lyles was moving up that first base line.
He got down the line pretty quick.
He sure did.
Yes, he did.
Oh, and by the way, he has a home run this year, too.
Pretty good hitting pitcher. So he's aboard, and then I'll put runners on first and second. Well, technology is so great.
Unbelievable.
We can see right here that the foot was on the bag and the throw had not arrived yet. It was close.
Close. Ooh. But I think for something new, I know that Tony and Joe and I talk about this a lot. And Tony, of course, is gone now to Arizona. But given everything, I think it's been remarkably good. It'll get better, and we have refinements to make, and we have things to do. But the average time it's taking is 2 minutes, and we're doing okay.
Well, the numbers coming into the week, 92 plays have been confirmed, 109 have stood. The key number, 180 have been overturned. So the game has been changed because of replay in a positive way.
Well, everybody told us to get it right, and that's the objective, and that's what we're trying to do.
2 balls and no strikes to Blackman.
Do you ever, and I'm afraid to ask this question because I'm afraid to hear the answer, but do you ever foresee anything taking place with the strike zone?
No.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
No.
Well, at least until January.
At least, Jamie, while I'm around, I can't speak what they do, but I can't, even today, I can't conceive of doing anything in a ball and strike situation.
I love it.
I can't conceive that. I think that would be a bad mistake.
I hear you.
Now
I had to ask the question.
Well, no, it's a good question because people have talked about it. Particularly, with tennis using so many different pieces of technology for in and out and stuff like that. Outside ball 4. So now the bases are loaded here in the second. And it'll bring DJ LeMahieu to the plate. And Bob McClure is going to head out to the mound to talk to Roberto Hernandez. So he's got himself in a little bit of a jam here because of the error by Cesar Hernandez and this swinging bunt off the bat of the pitcher, Jordan Lyles.
Bob McClure was a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers in the years I had for a long time.
Well, and Jamie, I know, talks about this, the number of people that you've come in contact with in this game since you first started. I mean,
amazing.
It's remarkable.
Absolutely amazing. At every level. There's no question about it.
You were talking about George Bamberger today.
Right.
That's a name from the past. The former Mets manager. He was a pitching coach.
Milwaukee manager, great pitching coach of the Baltimore Orioles when they had all the great pitchers. George, one of my favorite baseball people. And but it is true. It's at every level now in the last 50 years. And that's been one of the great experiences I've had, just meeting a lot of different people.
First pitch to LeMahieu is down low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Well, you know what the Philly fans are going through right now with the bases loaded and after there being 2 outs. I mean, you were an owner.
Believe me, I've seen it all and heard it all. I understand. And I don't miss the 8th and 9th innings. I don't mind telling you.
Out of play, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Somebody asked me years ago, is there anything that you really miss? I said, well, yeah, I told you it there. But all the tension and pressure in the 8th and 9th innings, which used to drive me crazy, I don't miss that one bit.
Well, that just hasn't changed. There's some things in baseball that have changed, but that certainly hasn't changed.
No, you're right. It hasn't changed one bit.
1 ball and 1 strike to LeMahieu. And a changeup dribbled foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
In fact, we've had a lot of 8th and 9th inning either heroics or depending on the percent in the last couple of weeks.
Well, this is a 23-pitch inning for Roberto Hernandez. Now, you're going to teach at several different places.
I am.
Are you still going to get out to the ballpark as much as you can?
I will. I'll go to a lot of games all over and watch a lot of games. When all's said and done, I'm still a fan at heart.
Ground ball to second. Chase Utley is there. And the side is retired. So Hernandez gets out of a bases loaded 2-out jam here in the second. We'll come back at the bottom of the second with Commissioner Bud Selig with the Phillies and the Rockies tied at 0. At bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store. Visit Phillies.com today. Last of the second, scoreless game. We're joined up here in the booth by Commissioner Bud Selig, who's been in town today. He received the Wistar President's Award today in Philadelphia, and also got a chance to meet with the Phillies front office in sort of a town hall setting, and then met with the members of the Philadelphia media. The Wistar President's Award, by the way, recognizes a public figure who has been personally touched by cancer and advocates improvements in research. And baseball certainly over the years has done an awful lot, not only for the Susan G. Komen breast cancer awareness, but also prostate cancer, and making sure that folks are all lathered up with some sunscreen too.
You bet. Oh, you bet. I had melanoma 10 years ago, so I'm very familiar. And of course, we were the initial sponsor of Stand Up to Cancer, which has done wonderful work all over the country and all over the world, and we're very proud of that, and something we're pleased to do.
Well, Marlon Byrd leads it off. It's no balls and 1 strike to Byrd. And that one's out of play. We just read that drop in for MLB.tv, and BAM, I know, is something that you're very proud of during your tenure as the commissioner.
I'm very proud. When I think that we went to this, formed an internet company in January of 2000, January 19th to be exact. None of us ever dreamed it would go to the level it has today. It's just it's amazing.
That one served out to right. That'll be a base hit for Marlon Byrd. So one of Matt's keys comes to fruition here in the bottom of the second, a leadoff single to the opposite way.
Yeah, you got a slider away, and he just stayed with it. Really didn't try to do a whole lot with it, didn't try to pull it. Just stayed with that slider running away from him and served it out down the right field line.
Now that's all stuff that we can go back and look at from a technology standpoint, where that pitch was.
Now what happens today is just remarkable. And people watching games on their phones, and it's great. It really, and the growth of BAM has been spectacular.
Here's Dominic Brown, who is 2 for 3 in this series. And he takes low, 1 ball and no strikes.
I was just thinking, every time I come to Philadelphia, it rains.
Well, you did have to make that one decision back in the
I sure
during
did.
the World Series.
When I was in the room with the media, I said, "Boy," when I walked in, I said, "This room really looks familiar." And then I remember
the umpires being up there too. I remember Tim Cheetah being up there and having to talk about the weather over and over and over again in 08.
Very difficult situation. But.
Well, Mr. Commissioner, what about the drug program? How happy are you where that is right now as you're ready to leave office, and where it's come from?
I'm very happy. When I think that this sport never had a drug testing program, and today we have the toughest drug testing program in American sports, and WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association, says it's the best program in America. And I give everybody credit for doing it. We've banned amphetamines. And the professional athletic trainers and the team doctors tell me that clubhouses have never been this clean. And we have to be careful. We have to be vigilant. People are always looking to make trouble, but I'm very happy where we are. Very, very confident.
It's one of the biggest changes, and Jamie obviously as a player knows this too. It's one of the biggest changes in baseball over the last 10, 15 years, just the evolution of it.
Yeah, and I think it's changed for the positive.
Absolutely.
Not only for the players on the field, but those who watch it, the children, the kids who emulate the players, who acknowledge the players, who want to be future Major League Baseball players. When you see people doing it the right way, I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, Jamie, you're absolutely right, and there's no question. We not only have this great program, but we have education programs. We go from ballpark to ballpark, educating kids. We spend more money on education on steroids than anybody else in America, including the federal government, and I'm proud of that.
Carlos Ruiz takes low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Runners on first and second here in the bottom of the second. A scoreless game between the Rockies and the Phillies. Jamie, you asked the commissioner a question in between innings.
Yeah, with all of his service time, I'm sure he's going to get a gold card, and he's probably going to have to use that to get into games. Is that going to be true when you retire?
Well, I'll let you know. The answer is I'll use it. Now I'll let you know next year whether it worked or not.
Okay.
Spring
you only get 2 tickets.
I know.
So,
that's okay. That's all right. That'll be enough.
So if you want to take your grandkids, you're going to have to work out some other
that's
situation.
Exactly
all
right.
right. Now explain what the gold card is.
Well, you're given a gold. I felt like it was a huge honor. When you get 10 years of Major League service, you're given this beautiful gold credit card, and it allows you to get into any Major League game. With you get yourself and one other person.
That's right.
It's pretty cool.
Sort of signifies that you've been around for a while, that you've been consistent, and kind of sets you aside from a lot of other people when you can walk around with that in your wallet.
Well, I haven't had to do that up till now, so I'll let you guys know next year how it works.
Now, as the transition occurs, we always see presidents of the United States leave notes for the new president when he comes in.
Right.
What are you going to do with the new commissioner, whoever that is?
I haven't thought about that. I'm sure that in the transition we'll have a lot of time to talk and do the things that we should do, because I took over. It was very difficult. I didn't really have that. And I always wished that way back in 1992 that I had somebody that, even though I had already been in the game 25 plus years, but I still wish there was somebody there. So I'll try to be as helpful as I can, and so that there won't be any surprises.
Cesar Hernandez takes outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Are you going to have a say in who the next commissioner will be?
Well, we have a committee that Dave Montgomery, by the way, the Phillies on, a very good committee chaired by Bill DeWitt of the St. Louis Cardinals, and I have great faith in them. And we'll work all that out. They're going to have a very inclusive, very sensitive process, one that I'm comfortable will produce the next commissioner. And, having done the job for 23 years, I'm sure that I've already talked to a lot of people about it, and will continue to do so.
I'm sure it was hard when they came back to you and said, hey, we want you to stay a little longer, to finally say no.
Well, they did, and they have, but once I made up my mind, Tom, last September and October, and I did a lot of thinking. I realized, in life there's a time to come and there's also a time to go, and I just said to myself, this is a perfect time to go for me. And the sport is really doing well, and I know it'll continue. I have a lot of faith in it.
Well, you talk about the sport doing well. There's parity all throughout Major League Baseball.
You bet.
When Jamie first started playing, I don't think we could say that there was parity.
No, there wasn't.
And there wasn't all these opportunities for teams to get to the postseason.
That's true.
It sort of changed the markets for a lot
No
of
question
people.
about it. In the 90s, there was no question, early 90s, even late 80s, there was no competitive balance parity. But all the economic changes we've made, everything else, it really worked. It has really worked. And, our job is to provide hope and faith, to my favorite term, in as many places as possible. So in the last 10 years, 26 out of 30 teams have been in the playoffs. That's what we set out to do, and that's clearly in the best interest of baseball.
Well, and it affects so many different marketplaces. But postseason is the best thing that a marketplace can have.
Absolutely right. And the more that you can have, the better off you're going to be.
You ever foresee a realignment?
Well, I was for it years ago, and there is some realignment that I would hope that they'll consider. But Jamie, I'd have to tell you, I don't see it right now. I think we'll probably stay with what we have.
Well, Hernandez is down on strikes. The side is retired. The Phillies leave 2 on. Commissioner Seelig, we have enjoyed it, and we wish you the best of luck as you enter into retirement, but there's still some baseball to be seen.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with both of you.
All right, Bud Selig, the Commissioner of Baseball, joining us. Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, guys. Which two Rockies started in the 2013 MLB All-Star Game? The answer will be revealed in just a little bit. You know, it's a shame we didn't have this question in the first because while Matt was off in the seconds, he could have researched it and come back with the proper answer. Although I think you guys can deduce who the two Rockies were in the starting lineup. You can only see what's going on up here in the booth right now. Roberto Hernandez will start the third against Justin Morneau, Michael Kadire, and Corey Dickerson. Morneau doubled his first time up, and he was left out at second. And he rips that one down the right field line. It is gone. Inside the pole, a solo home run for Morneau. He goes after the first pitch. It wasn't a changeup this time. It was a fastball, and he turned on it.
Well, going back to the conversation that we had, okay, in the first inning, start him off with the first pitch changeup. You know you're not going to get that pitch. Now it's 50-50 what you're going to get. And then Roberto throws predominantly fastballs. I'm taking the fastball. Kind of walked him right into that pitch, huh?
Yeah, 10 home runs now for Morneau in the first 2 months of the season. And the Rockies take a 1-0 lead. And Michael Kadire, who walked his only time up, will be the batter against Hernandez. And a line drive caught by Cesar Hernandez over at third. 1 out. Well, we mentioned during our trivia question who the 2013 Rockies were that started. Well, the All-Star voting tabulations, the first round, are out. And Troy Tulowitzki's in first at short. Arenado is first at third. And how about Charlie Blackmon leads all outfielders?
Well deserved. He's had a tremendous 2 months of the season. Hit for power or speed, playing good defense.
I mean, you expect Tulowitzki, but Arenado, who's a Gold Glover last year, and Blackmon, they're not household names. 1 ball, no strikes to Corey Dickerson. And it's 1-1. Meant to ask Commissioner Selig about speed of the game. How to speed
we can
up
get him
the
back
game.
here.
Because he had a great answer today when he was at the town hall meeting, and he was imitating the hitters and the pitchers in the batter's box and out of the batter's box and on the mound and off the mound. And he was talking about conversations he's had with Hank Aaron. And Hank said just the other day, I never ever stepped out of the batter's box. He said Don Drysdale would have clipped me if I had stepped out of the batter's box.
Let's go back to those rules.
He did allude in the meeting today that there are going to be changes within the next year. We'll see.
I'm talking about getting clipped.
I knew you were.
Well, we probably could have that happen.
And I'm
too.
sure there's a lot of old schoolers out there that are listening to the broadcast that probably agree with that. And I mean that in a respectful way.
Absolutely.
Have to be careful what I say from here on out.
3 balls and 2 strikes.
So basically you're listening to yourself when you're talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting though to think about Hank Aaron not stepping out of the box, not even the front foot, nothing.
Well, he wasn't looking for signs. He wasn't going to get the take sign or the hit and run sign.
I got to believe there's a lot more signs given in today's game.
Ball 4, and Dickerson draws a walk. So runner at first with 1 man down, and Willeen Rosario is coming up.
There's a lot more control coming from the bench in today's game, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there's a lot more control coming from the bench.
Rosario struck out his first time up. He's 0 for 1. One of 2 strikeouts today for Roberto Hernandez. Out toward left center field. Revere on the run. He's not going to get there. It's going to go toward the track. Cut off by Revere. Dickerson's around third. He's heading for home. He'll score. It's an RBI double for Willeen Rosario. And it's now 2-0. Rockies on top. .22 RBIs now for Rosario.
It looks like a changeup that stayed on the inner third of the plate. And he's got a quick bat, but he just kind of stayed with it, and it didn't even sound like he hit it hard, but the ball carried quite well.
I agree with you on that.
But the wind is kind of blowing that way a little bit.
Well, here's Rutledge, who struck out his first time up. Rosario has played 19 games, counting this one against the Phillies. He has 26 runs batted in. Paul Hagen, the Hall of Fame sports writer, who is retired from the Philadelphia Daily News and works for MLB.com. He sent me an article today from Sports on Earth about the best hitters in baseball history against certain teams. And when he sent it to me, I thought, boy, Rosario is going to be on there against the Phillies, at least recently. But this is the history of the game. Over to third. That's a foul ball. And it's 1-2. So I go through the entire article reading it, and it talks about the best hitter of all time against the Red Sox, Babe Ruth. Best hitter against the Cubs, Mark McGwire. Best hitter against the Chicago White Sox, Babe Ruth. Cleveland Indians, Babe Ruth. Colorado Rockies.
Not Babe Ruth.
Not Babe Ruth, no. So McGwire is on that, but there's an addendum to it. It said best opposing hitter, Mark McGwire. But if you squint really hard, you'll see that really the best hitter against the Rockies is Matt Stairs.
Wow.
All time. Yeah.
Really?
And it goes on to say Matt Stairs looked like he'd never run up a set of stairs. His body type was more at home behind the counter of a convenience store than a dugout fence. Yet Stairs hit .380 against Colorado and had a .770 slugging percentage.
Wow.
So that tells you working out is overrated.
Fly ball to center field. Revere comes in. They don't make the catch. And there are 2 outs. I thought that was kind of interesting, though. Well, that's part of the reason why Matt Stairs' home run that won a game in 2009 against the Rockies.
What were those outfielders doing? What were they thinking? They were going after it like they were going to catch it.
Well, maybe they thought the wind was going to bring it back.
They were trying to play it off the facade.
So there's some backyards where you can play it off the facade.
Who called that home run?
HK.
Yes, sir.
Last home run call for HK before he passed. But I didn't realize that you had that good of numbers against the Rockies.
I would have never guessed it either.
So the article goes on to say that the best opposing hitter against the Phillies, thought maybe it would go back, to the 40s, the 50s. Vladimir Guerrero hit .318 against the Phillies in his career. Now, his last 3 seasons, those numbers were brought down. 3 balls and no strikes. But I thought they would have somebody like, let's say, a Todd Helton, that they would put there as, with his numbers against the Phillies before he retired.
Or even a Larry Walker.
Or Larry Walker.
who would have played actually with Montreal and the Rockies.
Well, they're going to walk Culberson to face Jordan Lyles. With 2 outs and 2 runs in. Even though Lyles has that infield hit, that little swinging bunt, his first time up. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Back-to-back long innings for Roberto Hernandez.
Actually, both pitchers are really kind of struggled with their command tonight. Pitch counts are quite high.
Foul ball, and it's 1-2 to Lyles, who is 6 for 26 this season. Ground ball towards shortstop. Rollins will charge and throws to first in time, and the side is retired. But a couple runs score. A home run by Justin Morneau and an RBI double by Rosario. Top of the order is due up for the Phils as we get set for the bottom of the 3rd here at Citizens Bank Park. It's older Pennsylvanians every day. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEF now for an appointment. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the 3rd, it's the Rockies 2, the Phillies nothing. Ben Revere will lead it off. He's 0 for 1. He lined out to right his first time up. And speaking of Ben Revere, it's time now for our Geico quote of the day. And it's Revere talking about his home run. It was just a matter of time. My game is to hit line drives and hit the ball on the ground. I get in a lot of trouble when I hit the ball in the air, but this time it went over the fence. I wish we could have won the game, but it was a good feeling. I walked in with Ben today, and I said, you know, we were expecting between 2nd and 3rd that he might do the cartwheel that you've always talked about. He's always talked about doing a cartwheel when he hit his first Major League home run. And he said, you know, There was a point where he thought about it, then he realized, it's 4-2. I really shouldn't do it in this spot.
Next time.
No, you really should never do it.
Well, you really should never do it. He takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Well, isn't there a story out there that Jimmy Pearsall hit his 100th home run and ran the bases backwards?
Yes, he did run the bases backwards. Now Ben should not do that either, particularly if Dallas Green is on the mound, which he was when Pearsall hit the home run.
I didn't want to bring that back to Dallas. I was aware of it. I thought, I'll keep him out of it.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Revere. 1-2.
I played with a guy in Mexico when I was down in the Mexican League by the name of Nico Riesco, who hit a home run and did the moonwalk to first base.
How was that received?
Probably from his own teammates. He probably got harassed more.
Well, Revere lifts that one to center, so there's one away here in the third. That'll bring Jimmy Rollins to the plate. Rollins walked his first time up and then went to second on a wild pitch. First pitch is a little low. 1 ball and no strikes. To the right side, and charging is LeMahieu. 2 away. And that'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. He's flied out to right. His first time up, so he's 0 for 1. Oh, Murph, we showed the Rockies having 3 participants in the top spot of the All-Star voting. What about the Phillies?
Well, Tom, it's no surprise that Chase Utley is atop the second basemen in the National League. Certainly he is having an all-star caliber season so far, and he is actually well ahead in the second baseman category right now. And, if he gets voted, it'll be the 6th time he's voted in as a starter at second base. That'll be second best among all Phillies, only to Mike Schmidt, who was voted into third base, of course. And if you think about it, in terms of history, second basemen that have been voted to start in the All-Star game, if he gets in his 6th time, it'll be third best in history behind only 2 guys in the National League, and that is Joe Morgan and the skipper right here in Philadelphia, Ryan Sandberg.
It's remarkable. Sandberg was asked about Utley today, and if he was comparable to Sandberg, and he said in a lot of ways yes, and a lot of things that he does to prepare and to play the game. But that is that's a remarkable resume for Chase. Something to add to his remarkable resume. Off the end of the bat, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, you saw the All-Star voting. It's a sizable lead for Chase. You would think it's just going to keep getting larger and larger. But well deserved.
Very well deserved.
Looks that one foul down the right field line.
I will say, though, I don't think Ryan Sandberg had the video capabilities that Chase has right now. And I can only say that because we were teammates. And back in that era of baseball, the VHS tape was utilized.
Probably took forever.
What a difference that was from then till now. And the capabilities that you have now are just, you go down in that video room, you can watch anything you want. Curveballs swung at, curveballs for called strikes, fly ball outs, ground ball. I mean, you punch it in and you can get it. It's amazing.
Yeah, Jimmy, though, one thing that is comparable about the two, though, is the work ethic. I mean, Ryan would put the time in, and that's exactly what Ryan talked about today as Chase Utley rounds first and headed into second with his 22nd double of the season. It's the time that they put in, whether it be out on the field or in the video room, the work that they do to get prepared. I thought Ryan Sandberg's comments today, Tom, where he said he is always prepared, always ready to go when the game is about to start. He knows exactly what he needs to do. I thought that was, it said a lot, and I think that's the kind of player Ryan Sandberg was as well.
Yeah, I would agree 100% with that, Murph. Rhino was first of all, he was a great teammate. You see this replay here where Chase hits a fastball, he literally turns on it. With his short swing, he gets to pretty much, we've seen him get to any pitch. But getting back to, Ryan was a guy that was at the ballpark all the time and just a good teammate to be around. And he liked to have a little fun, too, at the right times. So he very well liked by his teammates.
Well, that's 22 doubles now for Utley. He is going to, as long as he stays healthy, shatter his individual record for doubles in the season. That one is hooked into center field, a base hit. Utley will score. He's already around third. An RBI single for Howard. And the Phillies are on the board. It's a 2-1 ball game. 31 runs batted in now for Ryan Howard.
And this is just a slider that kind of backs up a little bit, and Ryan does a nice job staying through the middle of it. Very nice bounce. Head stays down, drives through the ball on a pitch that is very hard to hit with authority going through the infield because it's a backup slider. Very easily to roll over to second base. Good adjustment staying through the ball and driving it through the middle.
Well, that'll bring Bird up, and Jim Wright's going to head out to the mound to talk to Jordan Lyles. Bird singled his last time up. Utley catching his breath after scoring from second on that base hit. It's a carryover from catching his breath after that double. Like a little scouting report going on with Utley in the dugout. Howard short lead off first. 4 balls and 1 strike to Bird. Matt, you weren't here when Bird picked up his hit, but it's what you said for your key for Marlon Bird is kind of using the whole field.
Yeah, and I was actually watching in the office, and it was a slider away. Didn't try to do too much, but hands it to the zone very nicely and hit the ball where it was pitched.
One ball and 2 strikes. He's gone back to the slider here, and he's picked up a couple strikes on that slider.
A little sharper slider right there, tighter. Almost looking like a cutter.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Bird. Bird is second on the team in RBIs with 29. His base hit his last time up ended an 0 for 12 stretch for him. Well, they're really throwing a buffet of pitches outside off the outer edge.
Steady diet of breaking balls. Down and away.
Howard not being held on. He'll take off. And the pitch is low, ball 4. do believe that Lyles and Rosario and the Rockies dugout all thought that pitch was a pretty good one. It looked like it was down, though, from our vantage point. And another trip out to the mound for Rosario. Dominic walked his first time up. His pitches by inning. He's averaging 20 per inning. Lead off first and second. Good luck at McDonald's. Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Emil Fitzgerald of Harleysville. Phillies hit a home run at today's ball game. Then Emil will win $100. What do you got, Jamie? You know Emil?
Our big cameraman over there, Big Chuck. He's from Harleysville, aren't you?
Charlie O'Gara.
Yeah. It's up in his neck of the woods.
Time is called. Out of play, 0-2. Couple of hittable pitches there for Dominic Brown. Phillies have scored a run here in the third, looking for some more. Check swing. It's a slider, and the side is retired. Strikeout for Lyles with runners on first and second. So the Phillies do get a run back, but they leave a couple. The one back was the RBI single by Ryan Howard. He stayed with it, went down and pulled it through the shift on the right side. We'll go to the fourth here in Philadelphia with the Rockies leading the Phillies 2-1. K-Cup packs keeps you running and provides fan base satisfaction. Order by 11:30 and get free same-day delivery. Who but WB Mason. We go to the top of the 4th inning. There's a view from the Diamond Club back behind home plate. Phillies trail it by 1. Hello, ladies. And Charlie Blackmon will lead it off. It'll be Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, and Justin Morneau. Blackman's 0 for 1. He walked his first time up. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Blackmon grew up in the Atlanta suburbs, grew up a Braves fan. Ryan Howard scoops it up. He's about to say he is turning into a dead pull hitter. 33 of his hits, which is more than half, are all to the right side.
And a pretty good hitter at that, too.
He grew up working with Brian McCann's dad when he was younger. Brian's dad, Howie, does some hitting lessons, and Blackmon utilized the elder McCann for some hitting lessons when he was younger. 2 balls and no strikes. Out toward shortstop, Jimmy Rollins is there. And there are 2 outs. And that'll bring Morneau to the plate. Well, tomorrow the New York Mets will be in town for a 5-game series against the Phils. It starts with a 7:05 start on tomorrow night. And then Friday also 7:05. It's a Comcast Be a Fanatic About Reading night. Free Fanatic children's book for fans 14 and under. Sunday, a 1:35 first pitch is Total Cliff Lee action figurine. That's free to fans 14 and under. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. There's Morneau. He has a double and a home run, 7 hits now against the Phillies, and 3 home runs this year against them. Ryan Howard is able to pick that one up, and the feed is right there for Hernandez. Side is retired, and that's a much needed 1-2-3 inning for Roberto Hernandez. We played 3.5 here in Philadelphia. The Rockies lead it by 1. Plus Ford stores. Go further. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Toyota. The Toyota Time Sales Event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Well, those of you who have come to Citizens Bank Park know the Majestic Clubhouse store very well. They got some great items on sale. And they usually freshen it up. They're the Fanatic glasses, the sunglasses. Every kind of mug or glass that you want. And upstairs is the Fanatic Attic at the Majestic Clubhouse store. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th inning. And the bottom 3rd, Carlos Ruiz, Cesar Hernandez, and Roberto Hernandez will lead it off against Lyles. And here is the Fanatic Attic. Welcomed by the oversized green man with open arms. First pitch to Ruiz is outside, 1-0. Carlos was hit by a pitch in last night's ball game. And then Josh Rutledge was hit by a pitch for the Rockies. Fly ball deep to left center field. Going back on it is Dickerson, and he collides with Blackman, and Blackman makes the catch. They do a little bit of a tango out there. And 1 out.
Well, ball hit to left center, and the left fielder and the center fielder going after the ball at the same time. Rule of thumb is the center is the captain. If he can get to a ball in the outfield, he calls off the left fielder and right fielder. The problem is if you have guys call it at the exact same time, that's when that happens. So it's very important that you keep on yelling until the other person hears you.
And I guess if you're the center fielder, since you can get to everything, you have to trust that if you're calling for it, then the other guys will just leave you alone. It doesn't always happen like there.
Right, and you also have to know the amount of range your center fielder has. If he has a guy that has tremendous speed, knowing where the wind's going, knowing the way the flight of the ball coming off the bat, the left and right side of the outfield has to back off and allow the centerman to go ahead and catch it.
Then there's the other problem. Sometimes you just don't hear them, which does happen. Two balls, 1 strike to Hernandez. The fielder's choice his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Foul ball, and it's 2-2. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. Top of the 6th inning. The Marlins are shutting out the Nats 4-0. Washington has been struggling, just as the Phillies and the Mets have been struggling. And because of that, the Marlins and the Braves are kind of battling right now for the top spot in the division. But even with Washington's struggles, they're only 3 out. The Phillies and the Mets are both 5 out. Line drive caught by Rutledge, 2 outs. San Diego Padres will make their only visit to Philadelphia on June 10th. It'll be a 3-game series, 2 night games, and then the Citizens Bank Business Person Special. That first night game, all fans, thanks to the good folks at Pico, will receive the Chase Utley Bobble figurine. You can get tickets by going to Phillies.com. Roberto Hernandez hits one softly to the left side. And he's retired easily. As he takes a quiet stroll up the line. 4 in the books here in Philadelphia. We go to the 5th inning. It's the Rockies 2 and the Phillies 1. The Go. Be the first to know breaking news on all of your Philly teams right from your smartphone. Download the free CSN Sports app, CSN Philly Sports app, today. Top of the fifth, Roberto Hernandez has allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. Last 5 games, his earned run average is 1.33. And his whip, which is an important number for a pitcher. Right, Jamie? The whip is important to a pitcher, isn't it?
I guess if you're in today's age of pitching, it is. I didn't really know what it was when I pitched. Well, I really didn't pay much attention. You know, for me as a pitcher, I'm focusing on the game, getting outs, focusing on mechanics, things like that. I wasn't really a stat follower. You know, first pitch strikes, you know, that kind of thing, for me was really, really important. I do know for the people that are into stats and things like that, yes, whip is important. Walks to hits, to innings pitched. Yeah, it is important.
Well, but this goes along to your point. Hernandez, a 1.33 ERA his last 5 games, and his whip is 1.48. Now that's high. He usually doesn't dictate an ERA that's under 2 like that.
Yeah, and Carl, he's really gotten ground balls when he's needed the ground balls. He's pitched himself out of trouble like he did here early in the game, and I think that's why you see an ERA like he has. When he's gotten into trouble, he's been able to go to his sinker and utilize the movement of his sinker.
2-2 to Kadire, who is 0 for 1. He walked his first time. Over to third, and it's a base hit past Hernandez. So Michael Kadire is aboard. Yeah, that's an 8-game hitting streak for him.
And Michael Kadire is just, for me, in my book, whether it's my pitching book or watching him, there's the respect that I have for him after playing with him a little bit, but watching him a lot, or playing against him a lot early in his career with the Twins. He's just a very good hitter that can do a lot with a baseball. And that's why you see him having the 8-game hitting streak. Last year, did he not have a real long hitting streak, if I'm not mistaken? Can drive the ball to the ball. He just really knows how to play the game.
Dickerson shows bunt, takes low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
And I got to believe he's, well, I know for a fact because I played with him. He's the kind of guy you want as a teammate.
Well, he won the batting title in 2013. He was also part of the All-Star game, and he had a 27-game hitting streak in 2013.
Is he part of the All-Star team? Yeah, 2013. Yeah, he was a starter, wasn't he?
I am not going to say whether he was a starter or not.
God, I thought I could get you to go there, Tom.
I knew what I was doing. 2 balls, no strikes. Although by not answering whether he was a starter or not, I may have given it away. With the dirt, 3-0. Rosario's on deck. He has an RBI double tonight. Now runners on first and second with nobody out here in the 5th. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag PhillyFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. Well, meeting on the mound, Rosario is not up there to bunt the runners over, but they are discussing the setup here, keeping the runner close at second, things like that, I'm assuming. Boy, that's a tight ratio right there. 38 balls, 41 strikes.
Well, you're going to have nights like that, but when you're having those nights, you look at the scoreboard and it's 2-1. You can have a night like that and it can be 8-0. So I'll take the 2-1 on a night like this.
You roll a double play ball here, and it's a totally different inning.
And this is where you talk about a pitcher competing. He doesn't. I guarantee he knows he doesn't have his best stuff, but he's taking what he has and trying to compete with it. And he's got himself into a little bit of trouble here. But as we've always talked, you're always one pitch away from getting out of a jam. And you got to believe that you can have good mechanics and make a quality pitch.
There's a quality pitch right there, and it's 0-2.
He's actually made 2 this at bat. Sinker in, and then that little slider down. Now here it's be smart. We got an 0-2 situation. We haven't had a lot of success here this year being in the strike zone in this situation. So use this pitch to set up your next pitch.
Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rosario, the last time against Hernandez, doubled to left center field to bring home a run. The Rockies scored 2 in the 3rd. Roberto was ahead of Kadire, and he singled to start the inning. Now he's ahead of Rosario. Swing and a miss. He got him with a sinker biting in.
That was a great pitch right there. That ball, he presented it as a strike on the plate, but it had a lot of movement. You'll see here in the replay, Carlos was looking for that ball down, and it was probably a little further in. You got a hitter that's going to be aggressive. You know he's going to swing the bat. He's proven that in the previous 2 games of the series, and throws a great pitch down and in for a strikeout. Now here you get a ground ball, double play, and you're out of your little mini jam that you're in.
Well, Rutledge is 0 for 2. He is struck out. He's flied softly to Revere in center. A little low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Rutledge playing shortstop tonight for Tulowitzki. So at a Major League scoreboard, the Braves and the Red Sox are wrapping up their series. And the Red Sox, who came from behind, down 6-0 in Game 1 to win that, came from behind yesterday to win that, now lead at 2-0 over Atlanta in the bottom of the 4th. All 3 of those pitches are in very similar spots from Roberto Hernandez.
Well, the key here is he had the green light. Getting towards the bottom of the order. Potentially, Walt White potentially gives him a green light, or does he give him the take?
He was taking it, looked like. It's 3-1.
And if you get to the pitcher, Jordan Lyles does swing the bat a little bit. So, but obviously they're looking to get Roberto to throw strikes, or forcing him to throw strikes.
Out in center field, you get a good view of these pitches sinking in. And a ground ball foul, 3-2.
When you see the kind of stuff he has by how they're reacting to the pitches, that sinker that's down in the zone that they're offering at, you know, they're rolling over it, they're pulling it foul. Even Kadire's base hit, he didn't hit it great, but he got it through the infield. It was a ground ball. Their walks of what has hurt Roberto so far.
Got him. He threw him a changeup. He was way out in front and was not expecting that pitch. 2 outs here in the 5th.
You see a changeup, and it looks really exactly like a sinker, but it's maybe 8, 9, 10 miles an hour difference. You can see in his hand he's got a weaker grip. He's got the same type of movement. You see where Rutledge is way out in front of that pitch.
All right, so now they're going to go after Culberson with the pitcher on deck. Runners on first and second. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. Back-to-back changeups.
Yeah, and very nice. And what I like right now is that Carlos is set up, Jukes is set up behind home plate, right in the middle calling the changeup, realizing that his changeup's tailing so much. So if you set up inside and you try to throw to your glove, it's going to be well off inside the plate.
Ground ball back toward the middle. Utley is there, and he's going to run to the second base bag. Safe at second. Everybody's safe. No argument from Utley. Rollins is saying, come on out. And here comes Ryan Sandberg. Jim Wolf makes the call. I think Chase was surprised that Dickerson got to second as quickly as he did. Sort of indecisive as to whether he should throw that to first or not. Larry Bowa is going to take the phone and see if they should review this. He's out. He's out. So Utley didn't say much. Rollins did, and now they're going to review it. And he's got him there. Both of those views, we always talk about inconclusive or call stands and calls confirmed or overturned. The other day we had one that stood, which means it was inconclusive. I think the shot, that first shot we saw, was the clearest shot that Utley got to the second base bag in time ahead of the foot of the base runner. You slow it down, there is a gap between the foot and the bag. Let's look at it right here. See, Utley's foot is on the bag, and Dickerson's foot has not yet arrived on the bag. Right there. See, that to me is definitive, this little space that is there. And that was quick. Boy, that was the quickest replay of the year. 55 seconds. That'll bring the average down. So a good challenge on the part of Ryan Sandberg, and the side is retired. 4 unassisted at second. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th with the Phillies trailing it 2-1. Quiz answer. Log on to Phillies.com and go to the fan section to put your answer in if you haven't done so already. All right, boys, the question one more time. Which 2 Rockies started in the 2013 MLB All-Star Game?
Well, we're in debate up here, but I'm going to say Gonzalez.
Carlos Gonzalez is excellent. Very good. Both are correct. Joey Tulowitzki and Carlos Gonzalez. Michael Kadire was also part of the All-Star game. And Revere leads off and takes low. It's 1-0. My thought of throwing Kadire out there and saying that he was an all-star backfired. There's a liner out toward left center field, and Revere's aboard. The Phillies get the leadoff batter aboard here in the fifth.
Trying to catch me sleeping, I have a feeling.
Well, I was trying to throw you off the path a little bit because I figured you would know. I figured you had two of the Wits game. And then I thought that Gonzalez was kind of up for grabs.
Did I tell you last night you can't fool the fool?
I wrote it down too. I did. Here's Rollins, who is 0 for 1 with a walk.
Charlie liked that comment too.
Time is called. Our contestant tonight was from Harleysville, and folks have sent me in some messages that it may not be Emil, it may be Emily, which they're probably right. I may have misread that first name. So if I did Emily, I apologize. Emil, if it's you.
What was the last name?
Fitzgerald, of the Harleysville Fitzgeralds.
You know, if it was a Yoder, Durstein, Landis, Alderfer, that'd be a good. That's a very popular name in the Harleysville, Souderton area. Moyer.
I would think Fitzgerald. Stairs. I would think Fitzgerald is a fairly popular name. I was surprised you didn't know the Fitzgeralds.
Yeah, I don't. I know an Emily Myers.
Right, Emily, I'm sure is spelled with a Y, though.
Yes.
And Revere just gets back. I know an Emil that's spelled with an E at the end. So we're sort of we're throwing it out there.
I know I'd like to see a hit and run right here.
Through the right side.
Doesn't matter. Just put the ball in play.
1 ball and 1 strike to Rollins. Rollins is 0 for his last 14, so he's due.
And the reason why I would like to see Jimmy do a hit and run is your thought process stops. So when you're stepping in the batter's box, you start thinking about, okay, if the fastball's away, I need to hit the left field fastball in, I got to turn on it. Now you're just reacting to a pitch and hitting it where it's pitched. It doesn't matter.
Well, here's a good count. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, and the whole goal behind it also is to put the ball on the ground and a hit and run. But you know the thing, I don't know if Jordan's throwing enough strikes to put a hit and run on. You got to pick your counts, your situation, your pitcher. There's a lot of variables that come into play for a manager when he's going to make that call.
Off the hands, he threw him a slider and he fouls it back. It's 2-2. Pete McCannon hoping for some visitors over there in the third base coach's box. Revere goes, pitch is swung on and missed. The throw to second on 1 hop is not in time. So Rollins is struck out, but Revere picks up his 13th stolen base of the year. Rollins went after a high pitch.
Got a very good jump at first base. High fastball. Figured it'd be a little closer than it actually was, but Ben kind of kicked it into that second gear and made it very easily.
Well, now the corners are in a little bit. Utley, who doubled his last time up, now has 22 doubles. He's the first major league player with 22 doubles in the first 47 games since Jason Worth did it back in 2010. All the different statistical sites, whether it be Bloomberg or Elias or even Baseball Reference, they have the projected numbers for a season. And right now, Utley's on pace for 71 doubles, which would push him past Earl Webb's record of 67. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Utley and Rollins both among the leaders in extra base hits in Phillies history. That may be one that Schmidt's going to hang on to. That and his home runs. Two balls, 1 strike to Utley. Does have the RBI tonight. He's on deck. The view from up top upstairs at Harry the K's out in left field. The 3-1 pitch. Fouls it back, 3-2. Speed pitch. He hasn't thrown many of those tonight. That's back-to-back strikeouts with a runner in scoring position. There are 2 outs, and Ryan Howard will be the batter.
Good changeup down and away. And you're right, Tom. He has not used that pitch, utilized that pitch very much tonight. He picked a good spot and a good hitter to throw it to, because Chase hasn't seen that pitch.
Yeah, last start he threw a majority fastballs and cutters and then mixed in some curves. Changeup was the pitch he used the 5th most. And now they're going to walk Ryan Howard intentionally to face Marlon Byrd. So Howard, who has the RBI single tonight, is going to get a free pass. Walt Weiss has decided that he likes the matchup righty on righty with Marlon Byrd instead of righty on lefty with Ryan Howard.
I like it, the run to tack on with a home run here.
You calling a home run?
I am.
I like that. Well, speaking of fireworks, Thursday, June 26th is the first of 3 fireworks shows here at Citizens Bank Park. The Marlins, the Braves are here for 2 of those shows. You can order tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Get some early fireworks here with Marlon Byrd coming up. Jamie's calling home run with the Phillies down by 1.
I happened to just look up. The wind's picked up, blowing out to left field. Going to hang a slider. Marlins saw a ton of sliders, breaking balls last at bat. He's going to make a mistake here.
Surprised that Dickerson is so shallow in left field too.
No, I got to believe the ball over his head is leaving the ballpark, unless it's one of those ball that's topped.
1 ball, no strikes to Byrd. 2-0. after a 2-0 fastball if he liked it, but that wasn't the one he wanted to go after. That was up a little bit in the zone. That's a pitcher's call right there.
Yeah, and I think if he offers it that ball right there, it's a pop-up at best. Hits it up the elevator shaft, right, Matt?
I haven't seen the strikes called at that height in this game. Now 2 balls and 1 strike. Inside, 3-1. Tony Randazzo says no swing. Howard's at first, Revere's at second. Over to third, that is a foul ball. So the runners will be off with this 3-2 pitch, which is good for Howard. He'll get a running start with 2 outs. Hard throwing right hitter Tommy Kahnle is up to the bullpen. Runners go. And the pitch is hit opposite way. Down the right field line. On the run is Kadire. It is foul. Well, the way the wind was blowing, it wasn't going to stay fair. And the way it was slicing. And we'll do it over again. It would have scored 1. I don't know if it would have scored Howard, but he was going on the pitch, of course, with Morneau playing behind him. I was pulling for you, Jamie.
Okay, we still got a chance here. Gotta think positive.
Runners go again. And that ball is fouled at the plate. Pitch at bat now for Bird. If you count the one that he's going to see right here. The 3-2 pitch. And a line drive base hit through the hole on the left side. Revere's on his way home. It's an RBI single. The Phillies have tied it up at 2 here in the bottom of the 5th. Second into the day for Bird. He's been on board 3 times. Well, it wasn't a home run, but you'll take it.
And it was a positive thought he was putting out there. The fastball inside. Did a nice job of driving to the left field. The pitch before, threw a pretty nasty slider, fouled it off, gave him a chance to get back and come through with a big 2-out knock.
Well, Jim Wright's going out to talk to Jordan Lyles with runners on first and second and 2 men down. So an 8-pitch at bat, and Bird wins the battle. It's going to put a lot of pressure on you for tomorrow, Matt, for your key for Thursday night's game against the Mets, now that you've gotten Marlon Bird as your key for tonight.
And going back to with his key, and what I mean by hitting the ball where it's pitched. His first at bat was a slider away. And a lot of times when guys get in trouble, they get out there too early and they'll hook at the left field. Stay through the zone with the barrel of the bat. Slider away, you're driving to right field. Gets a fastball inside, now returns on it and drives to the left field. So as you see right here, the slider is out over the plate. He stays through the zone and he actually hits it where its pitch is away. When things are going bad, you start hooking that ball. Now fastball inside, tucks his hand and drives to the left field.
Good piece of hitting. Now Dominic Brown, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. Speaking of that, Dominic Brown, Ryan Sandberg kind of said the same thing today, where he needs to get back to hitting the ball where it's pitched and not trying to pull everything and swinging at strikes. Now that may have been a ball. That's a tough pitch. It's the one that got him the last time he was up. But Sandberg said he thinks that's the difference between Dominic Brown this year and last year. No balls and 2 strikes to Brown with runners on first and second in a tie game. Dirt. Dick Rosario, I think the ball may have gotten a piece of his hand.
Pretty tough kid. Pretty tough kid. Spent a lot of time. Watched him for spring training. Spends a lot of time blocking balls and working on the game.
He did everything he could to block that, and he used his throwing hand to be the extra piece.
Jerry Weinstein, a coach that's in the Rockies organization, spent a lot of time with him.
2-2 pitch to Brown. Opposite way, and it's grabbed by Culberson, who flips to LeMahieu, and the side is retired. The Phillies do get a run and an RBI single by Marlon Byrd. We go to the 6th inning, all evened up at 2. Philly of the week is closing the door with confidence in 2014. After a bump of the road on the 3rd day of the season, the last man out of the bullpen for the Phils has turned out the lights on opponents. Through the first 2 months, Papelbon has been in complete control. There were plenty of questions about the effectiveness of Jonathan's pitches entering this season. He has not only been effective, but efficient as well, closing games in 1-2-3 fashion. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, the Fanatic enjoying some festivities. He's got his Greek outfit on here tonight. The man's got an outfit for every occasion. Just trying to get involved in the dance. They won't let him in, but he'll force his way in. And then he has no idea what he's supposed to do. Well, we go to the top of the 6th inning. And Brandon Barnes will pinch hit for the Rockies. So Jordan Lyles is done after 5. And Barnes whacks the first pitch off his foot, and it's 0-1. 0-2. He did go on that one, tied him up.
And you see the effect that pitch has on that it runs. I mean, it's guys are making an effort to go after the ball, and before they know it, it's all over their thumbs trying to hold up their swing.
Down and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Am I right to say that he's just looking for that pitch that complements that sinker?
Exactly. Yeah, and he normally has his slider, but there's I don't think he's finding the consistency with his secondary pitch. Although he's thrown a couple really good changeups.
Now it's 2-2 as the count evens up with that changeup outside.
I think sometimes with that secondary pitch, it almost looks like he's lacking a little confidence with it tonight, and he's trying to make it break instead of allowing, getting his fingers through the ball and finishing it and allowing it to break and trusting it.
Opposite way, and that is a fair ball. Marlon Byrd will cut it off before it goes to the corner, but Barnes is on his way to second. So again, he had the hitter 0-2, and then Barnes fought back to run the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes, but then picks up the pinch hit double.
Here's a sinker he throws. It's down. He just stays with it. I'm going to tell you, throw out a stat here. The Phillies have allowed 160 leadoff hitters this year via a hit, walk, or hits batsman to lead off an inning, which is the 4th highest in the majors and the 2nd highest in the National League.
That's one of those numbers that you see evolve, and you wonder, should it be like, are they higher than they should be? And as it turns out, yes, they are. They're higher than they should be. And now Blackman, who showed bunt, pulled the bat back. It's 1 ball and no strikes. So he's tied it up in the bottom of the 5th, and now the Rockies are threatening at a 2-2 game.
The commissioner was here. Got a question I wish I would have asked him. Watch these guys bunt. You see a lot of guys, their back foot leaves the batter's box, the lefties especially, and it goes behind home plate. Their foot is out of the box. Now, if you make contact with the ball, what's the ruling?
Believe you're out.
Take a look-see on a bunt sometime.
2 balls and 1 strike. Maybe you can meet him in one of the other town meetings that he has around baseball. You can slide into the studio audience.
I'm sure he's not well versed on all the rules, but I mean, it's he's the Jefe, right?
He is the Jefe.
But I see it happen a lot with a left-handed hitter trying to bunt.
Line drive caught by Utley, and the flip goes over the head of Rollins, or just past the glove of Rollins. 1 out. Chase was just trying to get rid of it as fast as possible.
Hot potato.
Well, here comes Bob McClure out to chat with Roberto Hernandez with 1 man down.
Well, and here's a situation potentially what they could be talking about. LeMahieu coming up. There's 1 out. There's no potential for a double play here. Do you walk him? You bring the 3-hole hitter up. I realize that Roberto's got a really good sinker tonight. So I think maybe giving him the option, or at least talking about the potential options they can do here. Bastardo's up in the bullpen. Roberto's right at 99 pitches, 100 pitches. You know, let's be smart about this.
It was a pretty quick conversation.
And it also could be to give the starter a little time to get loose.
First pitch sinker is in there. It's no balls and 1 strike.
And Matt, if you're a hitter seeing that type of pitch right there, I don't know. You can't do a whole lot with that.
No.
That's a Derwood Merrill pitch. What's he call that?
Hall of Fame pitch.
Thank you.
I've heard of a lot of those calls when I was hitting.
By the way, Derwood Merrill was an umpire.
American League umpire.
Yes, he was.
He was around before they split the crews and combined the crews, I should say. Over to third, Hernandez, and that ball hit off the foot of LeMahieu. And it's 0-2. See, now Puig would have run. LeMahieu did not run.
That ball actually might have been a little too hard for Puig to run on.
The Puig one was much more evident than this one.
I don't know that it hit his foot.
I was going to say it. Way more evident. The Puig one hit him off the top of the foot.
Correct.
Here we go. No balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball to shortstop. Rollins will make the play over to first. Barnes goes to third. There are 2 outs, and that may be it for Roberto Hernandez. Although they could walk Justin Morneau. Sandberg's up on the stairs. And here he comes. So that will be it for him. He's going to make a double switch. The pitcher spot is due up third in the bottom of the 6th inning. So Dominic Brown may be lifted from this game since he made the last out. Here comes Tony Gwynn Jr. So a pitching change. Roberto Hernandez's night is done after 5 2/3, and Tony Gwynn's going to go in to play left. Third with 2 men down. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. This photo comes from Fightin' Phil's, and it's an assortment that Joe sent in. Joe and Emma are out in the Milwaukee area, and we always see them when the Phillies take on the Brewers or the Cubs. And Emma's got the big old Jimmy Rollins head that we saw at Wrigley Field. That's part of the picture there. You can tweet your photo with a hashtag Philly fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Bob McClure chatting with Roberto Hernandez. He's done after 5 2/3, so he's given the Phillies a chance in this ball game. But Antonio Bastardo will be called on to pitch with Justin Morneau coming up. Stardo's numbers, 3.97 ERA. So Morneau doubled his first time up, homered his second time up. Both those swings, both those hits were on the first pitch.
He's seen 4 pitches tonight and 3 at bats. So if I'm sitting in the bullpen, I'm thinking, I didn't make a pretty quality pitch here early in the count.
Now, we talk about being out in the bullpen. Rod Nichols is the bullpen coach. I'm sure he has all those numbers to remind the reliever as he's warming up.
Well, I think they're more concerned with what kind of hitter he is and what they should be throwing him. More so, he may remind him of his aggressiveness as he's walking out of the bullpen.
Throws him a slider, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Morneau is 14 for 35 this year on the first pitch.
If we saw last night from Cole, they pitched him in regularly, and he did not have too many good passes at those pitches.
Barnes leads off third. The 2-0 pitch coming to Morneau. At a fastball low, it's 3-0. Kadire, a right-handed hitter, is on deck. The lefty on 4 pitches, which we have seen often this year from Bastardo when he comes into ball games.
I'm going to throw another stat at you. They now have allowed 67 2-out walks, which ranks as 7th highest in the majors and the highest in the National League. So they're the leaders.
Well, and you know, as a pitcher, the leadoff walks.
Leadoff and 2-out walks.
2-out walks, yeah.
Come back to haunt you. Hopefully that's not the case here.
Kadire singled his last time up through the hole on the left side. Little dribbler in front of the plate. Ruiz out behind the dish, throws him outside, is retired. So he walks Morneau, the lefty, and then he gets the righty Kadire to tap one on the first pitch. No runs, 1 hit. 2 men left. 11 left tonight for the Rockies. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Delaware Valley Honda dealer. ShopHonda.com. Buy McDonald's. Any size hot or iced coffee is just $1. McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by AT&T. Mobilizing your world. Bottom of the 6th inning. It's a 2-2 ball game. You wonder what the sights look like just to the left of home plate, the upper deck. There you go. As if you're sitting in the seats. And yes, you do need a sweatshirt tonight. It is pretty cool out here. Matt Belisle will take over for the Rockies as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And he'll face Carlos Ruiz, Cesar Hernandez, and Tony Gwynn Jr. Gwynn is in the pitcher spot. Carlos is flying to right. He's also flying to left center field. He just missed a home run his last time up where the ball was on the bat. And Charlie Blackmon was able to track it down. First pitch is on the inside corner. I didn't think it was, but it was. Now 1 ball, 1 strike. It out toward left. Going back on it is Dickerson. He makes the catch. 1 out here in the 6th inning, and that'll bring Cesar Hernandez to the plate. Friday, June 27th, the Phillies will start a 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves. 4 because there are 2 on Sunday. The first one of the day-night doubleheader is a 2:05 first pitch. That's Apple Vacations Photo Day, presented by Now Resorts and Spas. 2014 Phillies print, free to all fans. And the fireworks show after game 2 of that day-night doubleheader. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. Hernandez shows bunt, takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Now, Jamie, Hernandez, it looked like he was still in the box with both feet as he was trying to either drag that or push that over to third for a base hit attempt. Fouls it away. But in the top of the 6th inning, Blackmon is the leadoff hitter for the Rockies. It seemed like he was trying to bunt the runner over, and his back foot was very close to home plate. Now the batter's box is kind of a race, but I think you can legitimately say he was out of the batter's box with his 1 foot. 1-2 to Hernandez.
I kind of recall a big bunt for us in 2008 in the playoffs or World Series, where one of our hitters, I'm trying to remember who it was, lefty, was like, almost felt like his back foot was at the back point of home plate.
Well, here's Tony Gwynn on May 23rd against the Dodgers. Watch his back foot.
That's the point of. No, he's.
See, now there it looks like he's still partly in the box, right?
He's within the rules, even though you don't see any lines. But when I see it again, but it happens so quick, you don't, it's really hard. You're paying attention to the pitch and the bunt, and it's hard. I think it's hard for the umpire to see it because he's watching the ball being bunted.
Tony Gwynn takes low, 1 ball, no strikes.
I will tell you, on the pitcher's mound, I see it every time.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, have you ever said anything to the umpire?
I've tried, and then the play goes on, and
1 ball and 1 strike to Tony Gwynn. They're at the bottom of the 6th in the 2-2 game.
I'm just going to venture down to the umpire's room one day, have a little conversation. They get here so late sometimes. No, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
Ball's butted in the
air.
air.
How about that one right there?
Culberson makes a diving catch in foul territory, And the side is retired. Phillies go down in order in their half of the 6th inning. Charlie Culberson filling in for the Gold Glover, Nolan Arenado. Able to react, and this ball was up there long enough for him to get to a certain area before he left his feet. Well, he went a long way in the air to pull that one in. Local Honda dealers game summary for tonight. Justin Morneau has a home run. Jordan Lyles went 5 innings for the Rockies, but he allowed 2 runs. Ryan Howard and Marlon Byrd have provided the RBIs for the Phillies. And we're all even at 2 as we go to the top of the 7th inning. The Phillies trying to find some kind of rhythm here at Citizens Bank Park. And Antonio Pastrana will stay in to face Corey Dickerson, William Rosario, and Josh Rutledge. By the way, just to put a topper on what Jamie was talking about with the batter's foot in the box, if anybody ever wants to review it, it's Rule 6.06, and it's subsection A. It provides that the batter be declared out if he hits the ball with 1 or both feet on the ground entirely outside the batter's box. So that one we showed you with Gwynn, there was a part of his foot that was still in the box, but his foot has to be entirely, at least one of them, out of the batter's box.
I think that the last pitch we saw where he bunted and then popped up.
Yeah,
I think his foot was out of the box.
Out of the box.
But the lines are so brushed away now, it's really difficult to tell. But this angle right here that we're looking at up here from center field, you can tell.
2 balls and no strikes. Here we go.
See, it's hard to tell from this angle, but you can kind of see the white line is right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's close.
So, but yeah. But I know it's a rule, it's just not enforced.
Now 3-0 to Dickerson. Rosario's on deck. Walked him on 4 pitches. It's his second walk with 3 batters on 4 pitches. Mike Adams in the bullpen here in the 7th. It's going to come a point where Bastardo is going to pitch himself right out of some key moments in the game if he can't find his command.
well, a few weeks ago, the Sunday with Schmidt, when Michael said that it looks like Bastardo is more comfortable facing right-handers than he has left-handers.
There might be something to that. It's just surprising.
Tell you what, in spring training, it didn't matter who it was.
I agree with that. He
just devoured,
and he was fast
the hitters.
too.
Yep.
It wasn't the sort of the slow pace that at times he puts together.
His demeanor was he had somewhere to go.
1 ball and 1 strike to Rosario. Inside, 2-1, and now Ruiz is going to go out to chat with Bastardo. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Those are not splits that you want to walk around pounding your chest with. 10 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, when you're not throwing strikes, when you throw that borderline pitch that sometimes may look like it's on the black, you don't get the call from the umpire either.
Two on, nobody out. Josh Rutledge is coming up. Murph, while you do the Major League Notebook, see if you can find a strike or two out there.
I am looking for one, Tom. I promise you that. Gwinnett Mercy University sponsors the Major League Notebook, and the Boston Red Sox will be without Clay Buchholz for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander has landed on the DL with a hyperextended left knee. He hurt it in Monday's win over the Braves. The move is retroactive to yesterday. The good news is that the Red Sox are leading that game over the Braves tonight, 3-0. And Astros rookie George Springer, guys, how about this? He has hit his 9th home run in the month of May. That is a new rookie record for the Houston Astros franchise. It used to be held by Glenn Davis back in 1985. But get this, more impressive, it's his 6th home run in 6 days for the rookie. He leads all Major League rookies in the month of May, obviously in home runs and RBI. So what a month George Springer is having, guys.
No doubt about it. And Astros fans have been calling for Springer and Singleton to be called up for the last month or so. Singleton's not up yet for Houston, but Springer looks like he's a keeper.
You know, and he struggled when he first got up, too, but it took him a couple weeks to get acclimated, but now he's really paying dividends.
Ruiz throws behind the runner, and it gets past Jimmy Rollins into center field. Dickerson's on his way to third. The throw by Revere is not in time. It's offline. Both runners move up, second and third with nobody out. Third error of the year for Carlos Ruiz. Boy, Ben is so close, and he does all he can. He just doesn't have a strong arm. I mean, he was running in to back that one up. Balls, 2 strikes, 5 batters. Phone's ringing in the bullpen. They're probably asking Rod Nichols if Mike Adams is ready to go. They may even want somebody else to get up behind him. It's 2 balls and 1 strike to Josh Rutledge with runners on second and third. The infield is in. Out of play. And it's 2-2.
Here, I'm wondering if he has a. I'm not sure. I haven't. Trying to see if he's got a. Maybe flying open. From that angle, it doesn't look so. I think really, Antonio, it just looks like he's being too fine. He's getting behind in the count, and now he's behind in the count. He doesn't want to make a mistake, and he's just pitching very fine, too fine. Instead of trusting his stuff.
I do think during his career he has definitely, and you guys watched it. You played with him. He definitely has gotten into modes where he's thinking way too much and he's trying to be too fine. Mechanically, he looks fine.
Yeah, he looks pretty good mechanically.
It's full, 3-2. And he's walked the bases loaded, so 4 walks. 5 batters, 4 walks, and I don't think Ryan Sandberg. Yeah, he's coming out. He's got to go get Mike Adams and bring him in. He's got the bases loaded and nobody out. 16 balls, 5 strikes for Antonio Bastardo. We've seen him struggle before, but not like this with what he's done in tonight's outing. So the Phillies will go back to the bullpen here in the 7th inning. They are tied up at 2 with the Rockies, but a tough spot for Mike Adams to come into. And the bases are now loaded for the Rockies here in the top of the 7th inning. He's going to give way to Mike Adams. So Adams, with nobody out, will commit to the ball game. Adams 2-1, a 2.51 earned run average. And he's going to face quite possibly Troy Tulowitzki is out of the dugout and near the on deck circle, so they're going to use him as a pinch hitter for Culberson. Blackman just came popping out of the dugout too, but he's not due up. He's in the hole, but he's trying to get some looks at Mike Adams as Adams was warming up. All right, so they're going to use Tulowitzki or Gonzalez here. It looks like they'll use one or the other. Both are out of the on-deck circle. Looks like it's going to be Gonzalez first and then Tulowitzki. Walt Weiss, Tom Runnels, Got Dickerson over at third. Rosario at second. Rutledge over at first. And Carlos Gonzalez, who fouled the ball off his calf in last night's ball game, left before the end of the game and was just a little too sore to play here today.
Well, and they said it was where it hit, right above the pad on his leg, black and blue instantly and swelled up. So they figured they better go there and get some treatment, because if it gets bad enough at times, you have to cut where the ball fell off and drain the blood out of it.
Well, he's okay at least to pinch hit, although his numbers, as you can see there, aren't great as a pinch hitter. As good a hitter as he is, 14 strikeouts as a pinch hitter. Wonder if his approach is totally different.
I don't think he has a lot of experience at it.
Well, he's up with the bases loaded. The Phillies have decided to play the infield back for 2. They'll concede a run in this jam here in the top of the 7th. First pitch whips inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
But whether he has experience or not, he's a threat anytime he walks to the plate.
Broke his bat, grounder back to the mound. There's 1, and there is 2. 1-2-3 double play. That was an excellent pitch, not because of the result, but because of, you can hear the bat shatter as it goes back to the mounds.
I'll take the location. Excellent location. And I really believe, you go back to, what was it, last night, 2 nights ago, where they pounded him in. Carlos said, you know what, we're going to stay in there, and give a lot of credit to Adams. He made the pitch, but Carlos had the guts to go in there and make that pitch in. And we all know that Gonzalez loves the ball out over the plate, especially if it's a medium speed pitch and slightly elevated.
All right, now there's another meeting out of the mound. Do you walk Tulowitzki here to load the bases, or do you go after him instead of facing the left-hander Charlie Blackmon in the on-deck circle?
Well, I mean, you look at numbers. He doesn't have, I don't think Tulowitzki's ever got. I think he's 0 for 7 versus Adams. So I think you leave it up to Adams and see what he wants to do and what he feels more comfortable with.
Well, it looks like they're going to go after him, at least initially. 0 for 7 with a walk. You're right, Matt. So Tulowitzki pinch hits, and he takes a pitch on the inside corner for strike 1. It's 0-1.
And this changes the whole at bat right here. You throw a guy in, he can't just go up there and say, I'm going to look out over the plate. Now he's behind in the count, and he's got to cover the whole plate. Because he really doesn't want to go 0-2.
Well, he does go 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Different spot on that one.
But a great location. Down and away.
2 teams have struggled with runners in scoring position tonight. See if Carlos wants this one even farther away. The 0-2 pitch. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did, says the first base umpire, and the side is retired. Man, was that some pitching by Mike Adams. He got the 1-2-3 double play, and then on 3 pitches gets Troy Tulowitzki to finish up the top of the 7th. This was a bases loaded, nobody out jam, and Adams makes a whale of a pitch to get Tulowitzki to offer at it. Tony Randazzo, the first base umpire, says, yep, he went. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park at a 2-2 game. The bottom of the 7th inning. The Fanatical Rewards Program is a new fan loyalty program for Phillies fans everywhere. Free to join. Earn points for engaging with us on social media using the @theballpark app, activity on Phillies.com, and much more. Go to Phillies.com/Fanatical Rewards to sign up. No changes for the Rockies, as you would expect. LeMahieu moves over to third base from second base. Tulowitzki stays into play short. And Rutledge goes from short to second. And Rex Brothers is the new pitcher. Could be the best relief pitching we've seen this year. What Adams did, bases loaded, nobody out, and he was able to get out of it. See Brothers' numbers. The Phillies have gotten to him in this series. And Revere takes outside.
No doubt the best pitching performance out of the bullpen.
On the heels of what could have been one of the worst with Estardo struggling.
5 pitches, you get 3 outs.
Ben bunts. Didn't get it close enough to the line. One away. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Good banking is simple, clear, and personal, and that's helping you bank better. Citizens Bank, good banking is good citizenship. Jimmy Rollins 0 for 2, 0 for his last 15. His average has dropped down to 254. Ball and 1 strike to Rollins. Couple of very happy young ladies who just got that foul ball. They helped each other basically with it. Ball was rolling every which way out of one hand right to another. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rollins. Ball is lined toward left. It's going to drop for a base hit. And for Jimmy Rollins, that ends an 0 for 15 slump, a 1-out single here in the 7th inning. 2,221 hits, so 13 from tying Mike Schmidt and 14 from establishing a franchise record for hits.
That's a good piece of hitting there by Jimmy, but from a pitcher's perspective, you look at that pitch, and Rex throws the ball quite hard. Throws a slider there. He throws a fastball. It gets there a little quicker and probably gets a little deeper on Jimmy's bat, and Jimmy can't fight it off to get out of the infield. That's the difference between a slider and a fastball.
And a difference between inches when it comes to the effectiveness of a pitch.
Yeah, and it may not even be inches. It could be a half of an inch, because you can tell by the way that sound off of the bat, that ball, got in on the hands of Jimmy Rollins. But if it gets there a little quicker, it's going to get a little further in.
Rollins leads off first. Utley takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know who talked to me about that? Lou Piniella, when I was with the Mariners. He always talked about the difference between the cutter and the fastball, and that was a hitter's perspective. So I was very appreciative of that.
So he was saying throw the cutter.
Well, throw the cutter, but I mean, in certain situations, the fastball is a lot quicker.
Right. There's a liner to right field. Kadire picks it up on 1 hop, and Rollins will be out at second base. Jimmy read that it was caught and started back to first. The first base umpire, Tony Randazzo, he called it immediately that it was a non-catch. But Rollins sort of anticipated and went back to first.
I think Tony called it as quickly as he could once he saw the play happen.
Well, that putout goes 9-6 at second, and Utley is robbed of another hit. And Jim Wright goes out to talk to brothers with Howard up for the Phillies. Massett is up and throwing in the bullpen for the Rockies. Not really a whole lot you can say. Rollins, that's total judgment right there. He thought the ball was caught and he was trying to get back before a throw got there.
Either way, he's kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, he really is. And you go out halfway and you see him coming in as hard as he did, make the shoestring catch off the grass. And you can't determine if he catches or not. And if he decides to go back to first base, you see what happens. He's going to throw him on second base. Or if he goes a little farther and catches it, now he gets doubled off. Very tough read. That's why at times it's good to be slow.
Here's Ryan Howard with a runner at first base. Howard takes in the dirt. 1 ball, no strikes. Howard singled home a run in the 3rd, intentionally walk in the 5th. That set up another run. The single by Marlon Byrd. Ball left center field. Blackman into the alley, waits for it. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Utley, who's left on the base paths, will go to the 8th inning in a 2-2 game. To you by Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. By Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Chevrolet, visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Well, we're tied at 2 as we go to the top of the 8th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. It's time now for our Hyundai defensive play of the game. This was a whopper. I mean, Mike Adams made a heck of a pitch.
Well, it's all started with the location of that pitch. He gets a nice, easy couple hopper right back to him. It's a matter of catching it cleanly, getting a ball that Carlos can handle. You know you have plenty of time. Gonzalez doesn't run that well, and especially after he hits a ball like that, he didn't see the best effort down the first base line. So that was the start of a clean inning for Adams.
Followed up with a strikeout of Tulowitzki. That's our Hyundai defensive play of the game, brought to you by local Hyundai dealers. Sorry, Matt. Jake Diekman will take over. He'll face Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon tonight has been up 4 times. He's walked once, grounded out twice, and lined out. First pitch is upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Each team with 6 hits. 2 runs on 6 base hits. The Rockies have left 12. Actually, the Rockies have left 13 in tonight's ball game. Broke his back grounder softly. Diekman's over to cover. 1 away. What Philly sports topic are you fired up about? Tweet at PST on CSN, and Michael Barkan could discuss your tweet on Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business, weeknights at 5 on Comcast Sports. And here's DJ LeMahieu. With 1 man down, LeMahieu's 0 for 4. He's grounded out 4 times.
That situation there, you see again the value of pitching inside. I mean, he's sawed him off. Sawed off Gonzalez, sawed off Diekman, or excuse me, Blackmon. It's good location, good live fastballs.
Plate umpire Dave Rackley here in front of the Phillies dugout on that pitch. 2 balls and 1 strike to LeMahieu. Here the crowd might kind of pick up him saying the ball's, I think he said the ball's inside. According to the home plate umpire, it's 2-2. Looking ahead to the Phillies bottom of the 8th, it'll be Bird, the pitcher's spot, and Carlos Ruiz due up. The 2-2 pitch. Ball was at 98 miles an hour that Diekman just threw. That fastball was at 98 miles an hour.
About 6 inches off the ground.
Gets on you so fast, LeMahieu had no choice just to try to protect on it. A high fly ball deep to left field. Wind going back, and it is gone. A home run for DJ LeMahieu on a slider. And it's now a 3-2 ball game. I think every home run he's given up this year has come on a slider. mean, LeMahieu had fouled off a couple pitches, but they were off to the right over the dugout.
I'm not sure what forced him to select a slider right there, because he surely wasn't doing a darn thing with a fastball. Now you throw him the slider, which speeds up his bat, and he's given up 4 home runs this year on sliders.
Yeah, I don't think any of the home runs, any of the 4, have been on fastballs. Here's Justin Morneau, swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
Well, Morneau's home run in Colorado was off a slider.
Correct.
Uggla's grand slam was off a slider.
Fastball outside. Well, for LeMahieu, it's his first home run since August of last year.
It's just, to me, he's late on the fastball, and the slider just allows him to speed his bat up to get it into the zone. It's a 3-2 pitch. You almost have to throw a strike with it.
Out of play, and it's 2-2. Morneau will get a new bat. Boy, we got a lot of firewood going on here these last couple of innings.
We do. It shows you movement and velocity has now come into the game.
Morneau just trying to protect to stay alive. So the Phillies will have to play from behind again. They're down by 1. They have 2 more at bats to try to erase the 1-run deficit. Think about a couple of the close pitches too to LeMahieu that were not called strikes, but the home plate umpire said were inside. That led to the 3-2 count.
As the commissioner said earlier tonight, we will not be using replay at home plate for balls and strikes.
Or some other technology.
Yes.
Morneau again fouls one off. Eric Young will pick it up in the first base. Did you go down and talk to Eric Young today?
Had a very good conversation with EY today.
He's not happy that you did not come down to see him.
How about Latch? Did you see Latch?
Saw Latch.
There's a strikeout. Ruiz hangs on.
The funny thing about EY is we had a good talk. You were talking about the days and playing for the Cubs. He doesn't even remember me playing with him in Milwaukee. Like, oh, really?
No recollection?
Zero. It's like me and
Jorge De La Rosa?
De La Rosa.
Yeah, when you guys were teammates in Mexico, right?
We weren't.
See, it could have happened.
We weren't.
It all. You weren't?
No.
Oh, okay. So you did think about that. No balls and 1 strike. It all runs together eventually, Matt.
It does.
Kadire is singled tonight. He's also walked. Those are the 2 times he's been on base. 1 ball and 1 strike.
People don't even really.
Ryan Sandberg was hoping for a clean inning to give his team a chance to take the lead in the bottom of the 8th. Didn't happen. That ball is foul again.
So, you know, that the difference with that foul ball there and the couple previous were up over the dugout. That ball, he's catching up to it a little bit. See?
Well, that's the slider that they want him to throw. Now, not necessarily 3-2. Obviously, they don't want him to throw a 3-2 slider that way, but if he's going to throw it, they want him to throw it in spots where it could be a chase pitch.
Correct.
Broke his bat. It's spinning into center field. A base hit for Kadire. It's his second hit of the night. And the inning continues, and Corey Dickerson will bat. And McClure out to the mound to talk to Diekman. On the hands, a base hit to left. That one just looped right in, and Dickerson is aboard. Kadire stops at second. And now Rosario will be the batter. He'll be up for the 5th time in this ball game. Now Dickerson's coming back toward home. I have no idea what he's thinking. Did he think they were going to pinch run for him? Almost looked as if he thought something was going on with the umpire. The only thing they could have done is they could have put Drew Stubbs in as a pinch runner for him. And that's over for a strike, a slider. It's 0-1. That may have been what he thought. Dickerson after the hit. He's asked for time. Maybe he wanted his hand guard. Huh.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that pinch run for him because earlier in the game he scored from first base on Rosario's double.
Oh, he can run.
Tremendous speed, so he was definitely looking for the hand guard.
Fly ball to center field. Long way for Revere. He's gotten to the spot, makes the catch, and the side is retired. But a run against Diekman on the home run by DJ LeMahieu, his first homer since August of last year. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Rockies 3, the Phillies 2. To DJ LeMahieu's home run has made this a one-run game. We said that Diekman, he's given up 4 home runs this year, Matt, all 4 on sliders.
He has, and he needs to get to that point where he wants to bury the ball right in here to the back foot. And what's happening right now is he's kind of overthrowing his slider, and he's leaving it in this area right in here, which is allowing these guys to go ahead and get the barrel through the zone. This first home run hit by Ugla, supposed to be down and then leaves it in the middle of the plate, and like Jamie says, it speeds up his bat. Supposed to be a slider low and away, hangs the slider inner half, Morneau drives it to right field for a home run. Pollock, same thing, slider down and in, overthrown it, leaving it in the middle of the plate, getting driven to center field, and then of course tonight we see tonight's home run, supposed to be down and in, ball out over the plate, drives it to the left field. You get in that situation, like Jamie made a great point, it speeds the bat up. You need to bury it the back foot and get them to swing over top of it.
Well, a very frustrated Jake Diekman in the dugout. Frustrated with himself for throwing that pitch because he knows it.
Well, and this is all part of the learning process for these guys. They're going to take a step backwards, but you're going to take 2 steps forward and learn from it.
A lot of talent, too. He has an awful lot of talent, and he's shown that time and again. Nick Massett is the new pitcher for the Rockies, and Blackburn moves from center field to left field, and Drew Stubbs does indeed come into the ball game. So the Rockies have used their entire bench except for Pacheco, the backup catcher. 1 ball and no strikes to Bird. Bird hits one out toward left, right at Blackman, 1 away. Massett's numbers 1-0, a 4.66 ERA. In 10 ball games. Darren Ruff is going to pinch hit. So he's up for Diekman. This is the pitcher spot for the Phillies. Phillies have used Gwynn and now Darren Ruff. Ruff is 1 for 7 so far. The one was the home run last night. We noticed in spring training that Darren Ruff is closer to the plate with his back foot. Last year he was away from the plate with this open stance. Up high, and it's 2-2. He was having a lot of trouble last year with the sliders. Just was running out of bat. Just could not get to those pitches. And now by moving, and it's not a huge move. It's not a drastic move, but it is a move closer to the plate. He's taking some close pitches here.
I also believe too, if you have the confidence that you know that you can cover the plate, that's got to help. Instead of reaching, if you have to reach for the ball, it's going to take the sting out of your swing.
Swing and a miss. Well, that was a cutter. Yeah, there are 2 outs.
And a good one it was. Really tight. It was well located. Just a little late movement.
So Darren Ruff is struck out, and here comes Carlos Ruiz with 2 men down here in the 8th inning. Phillies have Papelbon warming up at the pen. He hasn't worked a whole lot. And even though this is a game the Phillies are trailing, they're going to pitch him at the top of the 9th inning to keep it at a 1-run game, or try to. One ball, one strike. Well, he's got almost like a natural cutter with that pitch.
It's been a couple speed, 92, 90.
And that one will go toward the hole. Tulowitzki gets it, jumps and throws in time to get Ruiz. Side is retired. A fly ball, a strikeout, and a ground out. Oh, we mentioned last night, Derek Jeter's the one that really patented this move. Troy Tulowitzki uses Jeter as his idol. That's why he wears number 2. Kind of looked like Jeter a little bit on that play to get Ruiz. Here at Citizens Bank Park is Monday, June 23rd, when the Miami Marlins are in town. You can get tickets for the next Dollar Dog Night and for all the games coming up by going to Phillies.com. It's a 3-2 game as we go to the top of the 9th inning. Rockies hit a home run in their half of the 8th. A ball by DJ LeMahieu. Troy Tulowitzki, we talked about this. He's got some ability at shortstop. There's no doubt about that.
The key there, he gets his hips turned so he can make that throw. If his hips are closed, he throws that ball in the Phillies dugout. Watching hips. Gets them turned open, and he has enough arm strength to get it over there. It's pretty impressive when you think about it. Go out in your backyard and try. I don't suggest to try that at home. But that's
go back and try that at home.
That's a tough play back in the grass in deep shortstop.
Well, we've seen 2 Gold Glove caliber plays, one by Rollins, one by Tulowitzki in this series. Jonathan Papelbon getting some work with the Phillies down by 1. It's an important spot to try to keep it at a 1-run deficit. And he faces Rutledge here. Rutledge is 0 for 3 with a walk. Tomorrow the Phillies begin a 5-game series with the New York Mets. One ball and one strike to Rutledge. 1-2. Tomorrow 7 o'clock, Phillies and Mets. We'll be on the air on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies pregame live gets underway at 6:30. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pap's fastball has been an 88-89 in this outing. Generally, this year it's been 92. It's been living at 92 most of the time. Line drive, one hopper snared by Chase Utley. Gets to his feet in time to get Rutledge. One out here in the ninth inning.
Ball's hit quite hard to Chase's right. Gets a glove on it. Gets down and gets a glove on it. Quickly gets up. Makes a nice throw. Turns it into a bang-bang play.
Rutledge thought that Walt Weiss was going to come out and argue that, but looking at the replay, he was out. So Drew Stubbs up for the first time. He came on to play center field in the bottom of the eighth inning. First pitch is over. It's 0-1. And 2 strikes to Stubbs. Got it with a high fastball, 2 outs. That was right where Ruiz wanted it. Immediately after the game, stay tuned for Ricky Metallico's analysis of this series finale tonight against the Rockies. Only on Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Postgame Live.
You can see Jonathan was down, down, down. Now elevate the fastball, and you can see Stubbs is a little bit behind that.
Well, now Tulowitzki, he struck out his only time up. He came on as a pinch hitter. Tulowitzki hitting .371. That's tops in the National League. 14 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Rockies have an off day tomorrow, and they will be in Cleveland this weekend. Split and had him out in front. It's 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to Tulowitzki here in the top of the ninth inning. Out toward left center field. Revere on the run toward the track. He gets there, makes the catch. Side is retired. A 1-2-3 top of the ninth inning for Jonathan Papelbon. So now, as we go to the bottom of the ninth, that guy right there, Cesar Hernandez, will lead it off when we return.
2. 3 outs left in this one, but beginning tomorrow night, a rare 5-game series with the New York Mets. Here's the pitching matchups, guys. You take a look. Zach Wheeler will take on Davey Buchanan. He'll make his second major league start on Thursday. Then on Friday, it's Rafael Montero versus A.J. Burnett. Jacob deGrom gets the start on Saturday for the Mets versus Kyle Kendrick. Jonathan Neese and Cole Hamels will meet up on Sunday. And on Monday, Bartolo Colon will face Roberto Hernandez, who is 2-2. Guys, send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Phillies have one more chance against the Rockies. This is the 21st game for the Troy Hawkins. Hawkins 2-0, an ERA of 3.93. 11 saves and 12 opportunities. And he will face Cesar Hernandez to start it off. It'll be Hernandez, Tony Gwynn, and then the top of the order. There's a lefty warming up in the bullpen for the Rockies. It's Boone Logan. There's Logan. Again, just takes one base runner, and that means the winning run will come to the plate. So that's what Hernandez's responsibility is, to get on base. Try to put the tying run aboard. Shorten his swing up a little bit, not try to be too long. See the line score in tonight's game. The Rockies led it 2-0 going into the bottom of the third. Single runs for the Phils in the third and the fifth, tied it up. The Rockies on a home run in the 8th inning took the lead. It's 3-2. Can be a little wild if you give him a chance. Sometimes, not all the time.
He can.
Just off the outside corner, 2-1. To left field, Blackman comes in and one away. Bullpen for the Rockies came on in the 6th inning in a 2-2 game, and they've allowed just one hit. That was the single by Rollins in the 7th. That's it. It was Belisle, Brothers, Massett, and now LaTroy Hawkins. Tony Gwynn Jr. popped out to third. He bunted, tried to bunt his last time up, and it was caught by the third baseman Culberson. First pitch is over at the knees, 0-1. To the right side, over to his left is Rutledge, and the throw is high. It gets away from Morneau, and Gwynn is safe at first. It's E4 for Rutledge's second error of the season. Almost as if it surprised Morneau a little bit.
It kind of caught him off guard, and I think he thought he had to rush it more than he actually did. Gwynn Jr. drove it pretty good to second base, but I really think he kind of rushed up a little bit and didn't take his time. But now we got the leadoff, the home run hitter. Maybe two nights.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't. I'd love to see it.
Win with good speed at first. Revere does have a hit tonight. He's 1 for 4. 1 ball and no strikes.
And watching that play, though, when you see an infielder make an errant throw like that, a lot of times, I mean, even a pitcher on a bunt, what happens is they stand straight up and they're not in a good athletic position to make a throw. Their hand gets underneath the ball, and you can see that in the replay. You end up pushing that ball and threw it over the first baseman's head instead of staying down in an athletic position.
And a line drive base hit it to right field. Gwynn will stop at second. The Phils have the tying run at second, the winning run at first. And Jimmy Rollins is coming to the plate. Phillies are winless this year when trailing after 8. That streak has got to end eventually. Why not tonight?
I agree.
Rollins is 1 for 3. He snapped an 0 for 15 with a base hit in the 7th. Rockies have left 15. They're 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. The Phillies have left 8. They're 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Runners lead off. In the dirt, 1-0. Murph mentioned it before. Jimmy Rollins playing in his 2000th career Major League game. The 2 Phillies now, Rollins and Schmidt, have played in 2000 or more in a Phillies uniform. Fly ball, shallow left, long run, foul territory. Tulowitzki drops it, and everybody is safe. That'll be his 2nd error of the series. He didn't have any coming in.
Could have actually got a second hand up there and used 2 hands. But I'll take it. That's what happens when you use 1 hand. Guess that's a 1-hand position, huh?
Shocking that he dropped that ball. So new life for Rollins. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Hawkins looks back at second and turns. Nothing's going on. Ground ball right side. It's a foul ball. We go back to April 12th against the Marlins. Jimmy Rollins. Who knew it? So did the dugout. Can he be the hero again? Why not? He loves the spotlight. It's a perfect time to slide into the spotlight right here. When trailing after 8 this year, the Phillies are winless. So they're trailing here in the bottom of the 9th inning with runners on 1st and 2nd. Breaking ball hit toward left. Blackman coming on, makes the catch. 2 outs. And the runners go back. And it's left to Chase Utley. Utley's had some good swings tonight. He doubled in the 3rd. And he was robbed of a hit his last time up on a line drive to right that was 1 hop by Kadire. Wow, Walt Weiss is going to go to Boone Logan. So he's going to go with Logan against the lefty Chase Utley instead of LaTroy Hawkins. So a pitching change here at Citizens Bank Park. The Rockies up by 1. We'll have lefty on lefty. Why the Rockies are on top by 1, 3-2.
Yeah, the Camden situation, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Wanted to get that slider down and in for the swing and miss. Got thrown to the middle plate, and first home run this year.
And DJ LeMahieu had not homered since August of 2013. So now the Rockies lead at 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 9th inning. LaTroy Hawkins was just lifted, and the left-hander Boone Logan's going to come on. He takes over for LaTroy with runners on first and second and 2 men down. So lefty on lefty. Utley against Logan with the tying run at second. Logan 1-1, an ERA of 4.50. He does not have a save, but this is indeed a save situation. Quinn good speed at second. Revere very good speed at first. You have good arms all the way around to the outfield. But a base hit, the Phillies should tie this ball game. Ball, no strikes. Logan is set, so is Utley. Runners lead off. Howard's on deck. Utley's taking at least 1, right? I would be shocked if he swings at a 3-0 pitch.
I agree. I do agree.
If I'm swinging the bat as good as he is, though, I'm looking for one area, and if it's there, I'm hitting a double down that right field corner and watching the boys celebrate at home.
Let's see where they set up. It's 3 balls and no strikes to Utley. The runners lead off. Oh, wow. Right on, Matt. It's a foul ball, but oh, man, was he looking for a spot.
Now, there's a pretty good chance with that foul ball 3-0. He looked inside. He got it. Drove it to right just a little too quick. But look, great balance. Head down. Hands out. He just bought himself a slider after that 3-0 swing.
Actually, the fastball was supposed to be down and away, and he missed his location back over the middle of the plate.
That one is fought off into right field. A base hit. Gwynn's around third, heading for home. Kodaire's throw is not in time. The Phillies tie it up. It's a 3-3 game. Over to third goes Revere. An RBI single for Utley. And now the winning run is 90 feet away.
3-1 fastball, supposed to be away. Comes back inside, and Chase has been doing what he's doing all year. Hitting line drives at key situations. Don't need to win the slot. Score is easy. What I like about that play is that Chase goes from home to second, hoping they would cut it to get that run across no matter what on that play.
Well, now you've got Ryan Howard, who is hitting .212 against lefties this year, but his good numbers against Logan. The winning run is over at third. Tied up at 3 here at the bottom of the 9th. First pitch is way inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Bird, good size lead off third. Or excuse me, Revere. The 1-0 pitch. He pulls it foul. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Tell you what, I don't think Logan has hit too many locations tonight. It's almost like he's going opposite where Rosario is setting up. I gotta believe as a catcher, it's really now hard to call pitches because you don't know where he's going to throw it and what he can throw for a strike.
The winning run is over at third as Revere takes his lead. It's 1 ball and 1 strike to Howard. Breaking ball in there, 1-2. Good pitch. Ball and 2 strikes to Howard. The pitch to him. Fastball outside, 2-2. Ball gets into dirt. Revere's got such a good lead off third. It's not going to take the ball rolling away from Rosario too far to ignite Revere to come to the plate. Third baseman is way off the line, LeMahieu, because they've got the partial shift on for Howard.
You saw how Willeen caught that last pitch. It almost kind of handcuffed him.
Two balls and 2 strikes. And Howard fouls it off his foot, staying alive.
And really, if Ben wants to get off farther down the third baseline, he can. Usually you're told the distance that the third baseman plays from third base bag is the distance that you can go as well.
And you get a left-handed pitcher. Although Willeen's got a very good arm if they set any kind of a timing play. but the third baseman has to hold his ground till the pitch crosses the plate.
Two balls, 2 strikes to Howard, and the pitch. Fastball hit in the air, left center field. That one's way back there. It is gone! Opposite field, game-winning home run for Ryan Howard. The Phillies pull it out 6-3 over the Rockies. 4 runs here in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it's time to celebrate. Trailing after 8 innings all year long. Well, that streak is finally over. And Ryan Howard, with his 9th home run of the season, has given the Phillies the series over the Colorado Rockies. Been a lot of tough losses this year for the Phillies, but this was a big win. And the big piece is the guy that provided the victory with a 3-run opposite field home run to win it 6-3. That just sounded like it was gone.
It's a pretty good pitch, too. I give Ryan a lot of credit. That ball was somewhat down and away, and he stayed right on it and drove it right over the W.B. Mason sign.
Well, Ryan Howard's 3-run home run. Ben Revere, he knows what it's like to hit a home run, so he knew that one was out. A little high stepping. And Ryan Howard with the celebration. He's down with Murph. Murph?
All right, thanks very much, Tom. Yep, the big piece with the big moment tonight, and we'll just take us through that final at bat because you got all of that one.
Man, I was just trying to follow up Chase. Get a good AB, get a good pitch to hit. Try to battle off some pitches, try to get Marlin to the plate.
We talk about building momentum with this team, and, this is the kind of win, the first win after trailing after 8 innings, your first win of the season that way. Is this the kind of thing you can build on?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about trying to build. It's not about that anymore. It's just...
Sometimes you just have to let it happen. You got him? Good.
Got it.
Sometimes you just got to let that happen,
Yeah, just got to let it go. But, we talk about trying to build, and it's not about that anymore. It's about doing. And, today we were able to come back, take this game away, and we needed that.
You certainly did need it. Congratulations. Great win, Ryan. Let's send it back upstairs, guys.
Try to be
all right,
on me over there. See that?
Yeah, they'll get you any way they can.
Well, Ryan Howard gets him any way he can with a moonshot opposite way. A little odd dancing by Ben Revere, but we'll take it. The Phillies win it 6-3 over the Rockies. They come from behind and take the final game.